research around the best way to network with people. And so we found the number 7 to be a magical number in the world of networking. And so we use 7 for everything that we do at Jabberyak. We have a vast library, so people can come in and select 7 interests that best describe who they are. So John is wearing his button from a previous event, and I've got mine. So they're cues. They're when you're in person at an event, they're cues that help break the ice. But there's data analytics in the back end. So organizers actually will know who's attending, and it builds the persona of the group so they can kind of personalize things a little bit better. There's a Connect Now networking app that allows them to go in and find their people. So Quinn, you say people with 2 P's. I mean, that is where people will go to find their people with 2 P's when they go to the event, right? It's finding people that they have similar interests with, and they can spark conversations. And as an MC or as a speaker, it's great to know who's in your audience. If I'm speaking, I want to know who's in my audience. I want to try and connect with them. I want to try and engage with them. So I'm not just talking at them. And so the data analytics dashboard is great information. I tell everyone, please share with your speakers so that they know who's in the audience. And you can see Phil's virtual background and ours. So when you're in virtual meetings, you know, it's a great way to try and have some sort of visual cue to break the ice, connect. Because you and I connected, but you don't drink coffee anymore, Phil. And you shared with me your amazing energy drink that you and your family drink.
Absolutely. See? Thank you so much, Sheeta, for being here. Folks, if you want to, you can actually go put that backdrop on yours. And do me a favor. If you see something on my backdrop that is an interest of yours, put that in the comments, because I'd love to find my people in the comments. And if you've got more than one, put them all together.
And I'll share the link for people who want to create it. It's free. It's really quick. You go in there, make a selection. It'll email you 3 different versions to upload to any virtual platform. So have fun with it.
All right. Thank you again for being here. With no further ado, I want to bring Quinn onto the show to talk all about the Emcee Effect. And in your intro, I mentioned that you never wear heels, Quinn. So why don't you start off talking about that? Why do you do that? And let's hear about the Emcee Effect.
You know, I believe that your Emcee Effect encompasses 2 things. Your Emcee Effect as a host, as a moderator, as a facilitator, however you describe yourself, should be twofold. Number 1, it should be physical, and then it should be your actual stage performance. So for me, I was speaking one time, Phil, and to be honest with you, I was not emceeing, I was keynoting. And it was a 60-minute keynote, and I was super excited to speak and serve. And I quickly realized that I was creating the biggest speaker sin. I began to focus more on myself and how much my feet were hurting in these heels versus serving the audience. Debbie's shaking her head. So you know, when you are speaking, it's not about you, it's about the audience. Because I looked fabulous, but my feet were killing me. In that moment, I made a declaration. I decided that the next time I get on stage, I am going to be confident and comfortable. And for me, that meant sneakers. And this is a time where it wasn't sexy. I started wearing sneakers on stage in 2018, 2019. So as a woman speaker, as a woman MC, very much the untold, uniform or wardrobe was heels. And I decided to break that. So as we talk about the Emcee Effect, and as we talk about how you can create your competitive advantage and get people to notice you, book you, and hire you, I do believe that your Emcee Effect is inclusive of both your physical style and also your presentation style as an MC. And just so you know, I'm going to give you a couple of quick tips, and then Phil is going to jump back on with me, and we're going to take some Q&A because we are here to serve you. We want to make sure the next generation of aspiring or emerging MCs, or even if you're a speaker, that every now and then you get asked to MC and you want to add the service as either an upsell to your keynote or a cross sell to a workshop, or if MCing is your main thing, we want to super serve you during the time that we have. So let's talk about this for a second, right? My hidden superpower, but more importantly, you need to know what your superpower is as an MC. And like I mentioned, it should be inclusive of both a physical attribute as well as your stage superpower, right? So one of the things for me is my sneakers. We talked about that. So I know Devin's here. She's amazing. And her thing is red, right? She shows up in red. It could be a red blazer, a red lip, however she wants to do that, right? But she shows up red because guess what? 93% of communication is nonverbal. So before you open your mouth to speak, to serve, to pour, to introduce a keynote, to introduce a key sponsor, they are already judging you before you open up your mouth. Now, I know you probably looked at my lipstick, you looked at my pearls, you probably looked at my side ponytail, right? Before I even said anything. So you want to be mindful of, how do I show up? So giving an MC effect is deciding and determining what is your winning wardrobe. Is it something particular about how you dress? Are you blazers? Are you sneakers? Is it color? Is it a suit? Is it a tie? Something about you should have an effect on the audience as an MC before you open your mouth, right? And then the second part of that is, I believe, whatever is good to you that we can dive into in regards to your style and your stage presence. So one of the things that I believe is, you can be an average MC or you can be an amazing MC. I'm just curious. For me, I think that if you are here today and you want to grow your MC business, in 2025 and beyond, you should probably teeter on the amazing side and not average. And in order for you to be amazing, I believe you shouldn't settle for being an MC. You should actually upgrade yourself to being an epic MC. And that's how you can have your effect. What do I mean by that? If you want to know how to become an epic MC in 2025 and beyond, I want you to type epic in the comments. I want to make sure that you're picking up what I'm putting down. I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I believe that you're my people, but I just wanted to double check, right? So I see a bunch of epics coming through. So here's what you need to know. I'm going to give you 4 quick things on how you can level up and be epic as an MC to attract more event and meeting planners who are ready and willing to hire you. Now, Phil talked about it a little bit earlier, and here's the good news and here's the great news. The good news is, a lot of event planners and producers really did rely on, God forgive me, boring board member Bob. We all know Bob. Bob has been emceeing this event for the last couple of years. His jokes are a little stale, but he likes the mic. And this person particularly might not know that they can hire a professional MC like Jasmine Brett Stringer or, Sherry Barr or Yolanda Marie Tate. So they've been settling for Bob, right? But in this day and age, they're looking for something fresh, something innovative. They want to make sure that their 2026 conference is nothing like 2025. So they have upgraded their identity. They have upgraded their thought process, and they want an average MC. And then here you come, and you are going to give them an epic MC effect. And here's how you do that. First and foremost, here is how you work this epic MC model for 2025 and beyond. If you want to learn and earn, now is a good time to write this down. So what do I mean by epic? The E is all about embracing your MC excellence. Even though we are all similar as MCs, we are not the same. So there is something amazingly excellent about how John MCs. There's something amazing about how Kate MCs. I know for me that part of my MC superpower is my use of alliterations. So I feel like when I'm speaking, when I'm talking, when I'm communicating, when I'm captivating a crowd, I am going to say things like, you have to articulate your awesomeness as an MC. You have to verbalize your value to event planners. That is part of my MC excellence. So not only do you have to know it, you have to identify it, and then you have to lean into it, right? So in order to be epic, what is your MC excellence? What do you do better than any other MC? I know some MCs who can rap, they can sing, they can dance. I know some MCs who have so many superpowers, but you have to figure out what yours is and magnify that on the stage, right? So that's the E, to building your own MC effect and growing. P is, you have to powerfully position and publicize your MC services. I don't know about you, but I meet MCs all the time, and they are the best kept secret. They tell me they want to get the fee that they deserve and they desire. They tell me about the stages that they want to be on. They tell me about this amazing event that they did and how they got a standing ovation and how they said the names of all the keynote speakers right, but there's no proof of it. So if you are an MC, I don't need to be searching, wishing, finding you. You need to be so visible that you are undeniable. What does that look like? Making sure that your social media presence, especially LinkedIn, reeks with your MC superpower. I should be going over to your website, your Instagram, your YouTube page, and there should be evidence of your MC excellence everywhere. If you don't even have something as simple as MC, corporate MC, moderator, facilitator in any of your bios, I'm questioning if you're serious about your MC craft. So you should be able to powerfully position and publicize. I should see clips of you speaking. I should see testimonials of you emceeing. There should be no secret that you are an MC, because guess what? When we get to the portion of the program, when we talk about what planners are looking for, guess what? They want to make sure that you pass the background check. And that background check is you showing up visibly in your MC excellence. Now, I have two more, and I'm going to open it up for Q&A. That I in the Epic MC Effect and Finding Your Superpower is all about, write this down, having an income-based MC business, right? Income-based. You speaking for free and lowering your free is a great way to get started. But if you want to elevate, you have to prioritize getting paid. If you want to get paid as an MC, type paid in the comments, right? Type paid. So what does that look like? You and the I in this is running an income base, meaning if somebody reaches out to you to host or MC your event, you have a process in place for them to book you. Gone are the days if somebody says, John, we would love for you to MC your event, and John jumps on the phone. John probably has a process. Here's a pre-event questionnaire. There's a process. So people shouldn't have instant access to you. If you want to make money hosting, then you have to make sure that you are prioritizing the income base and know what you want to charge. Here's a quick hint. Their budget and your fee have nothing in common, okay? And sometimes we're asking the question, what is your budget? And the real thing you need to do is verbalize your value so they pay your fee, okay? So my fee has nothing to do with your budget, because some people tell me all the time they don't have a budget. By the time we're talking, they have the budget, right? So it's about recognizing that you are not just an MC, you are running an MC business, an income producing business. And last but not least, I don't know if you know this about me or not, but I absolutely positively believe that many of us are not lacking stage presence. Many of us are not lacking stage style. If you give us a microphone, we can introduce, we can transition, we can do all the things to make sure that the event, the experience, the conference, the convention, the meeting runs smoothly. Where most of us struggle is we don't know the business side. And I put a lot of energy and emphasis into running an MC business, but I have to end this epic format or this epic methodology on how you can grow and get paid the fee that you deserve and you desire in 2025 and beyond with the C in this model. And the C is all about captivating and connecting with the crowd. So you cannot get on stage and be boring. You cannot be on stage and fumble people's names. So part of being an epic MC, but more importantly, having a MC effect in this industry is knowing how to light the stage on fire, knowing how to make sure that sponsors and speakers feel warm and welcome, and you can activate audiences, and you can do icebreakers, and you can fill time or get the event back on time if a keynote speaker runs over. So again, the C in this model is all about captivating. This is your stage presence. It has nothing to do with your one sheet, has nothing to do with your video as an MC, has nothing to do with your stage presence. When it comes to online presence, has everything to do with, if I put a microphone in Kate's hand, can she rock out? Right? That is what it's about. So I'm going to love you and leave you right there, but more importantly, invite you to ask questions. Phil can come back on, but in order to be epic, in order to have your own MC effect, you, number one, want to embody MC excellence. You want to powerfully position and publicize your MC services. You want to run an income-based MC business. And last but not least, you want to captivate and connect with crowds as an MC. Phil, I'm going to toss it to you and we can open it up for questions.
Awesome. And go ahead and give her a clap, hand clap in the bottom. You can see the way to do that. I'm going to ask a question, but go ahead and drop your questions in the chat, and we're going to take a couple of those. I noticed something, Quinn, when we were
Sure.
doing the poll earlier, that half the audience here at least is a speaker, but not yet an MC. I want you to do two things. What's the difference between a speaker and an MC? And then if a speaker wants to become an MC, what are some of your recommendations?
So let's start with the first question. The difference between a speaker and MC is quite different. Even though they're in the same speaking family, they're probably like first cousins. They're not brother and sister, and they're not twins, right? So speakers, their job is for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes to give the crowd some type of thought leadership. They are to inspire, to motivate, to elevate, to teach, to train, to transform, right? That is the job of the speaker. Their job is to rock the world and blow the minds of the people in the audience with information that can make them better personally or professionally. That is their goal. Usually they're teaching them something, right? A framework, a methodology, something that can support them as they grow, again, either personally or professionally. So it's to develop and deliver an idea that can transform that person's life. That is the role of an keynote speaker or speaker workshop presenter. When you talk about an MC, our job is actually not to be a thought leader. That's why we are able to do so many different industries. Our job is to make sure that we're introducing the speaker, we're transitioning, we are making sure that the meat of the message is digestible for the audience. Our job is to keep the energy high. Our job is to keep the attention to the main stage. Our job is also to make sure that we're making sure that the audience members come back after certain breaks. So our job is to be fire putter outers. It's to be glue fillers. It's to be the event GPS. And for real, be the person that lets the attendees know what's happening from session to session in a way that wants to make them return. So another superpower of an MC, to be honest with you, is your emotional intelligence. You are reading the room, making real-time updates and changes to make sure that the audience is captivated from start to finish. And that can happen 25 times during a day, right? So your energy has to be high, but so does your perception of everything that's going on. Hopefully that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think of an MC like they're a content weaver. They're
Yeah.
stitching things together, or I call it the mortar that holds bricks together. They are the one. If you don't have someone holding the bricks together, it's going to fall down. So it's a critical role.
Hey,
Gabby
Phil.
asked a follow-up question to that.
Oh,
And she said,
sorry, Phil.
yeah, go ahead.
I want to check this one too. Jasmine is looking for this. What's the code to get your free gift? So she's on
yes.
the page for your free gift.
Yep,
What's her
it's
code?
MC.
EMCEE.
Yeah, EMCEE. So if you want my paid MC playbook, it's usually $7, but guess what? I'm waiving it. So anybody on here, if you type in the code MC, you can get that playbook absolutely free.
That works. Thank you so much, Quinn. Back to you, Phil.
Yeah, thanks for the interruption. Gabby or Gabrielle, I think it's Gabby. I think it's the same person that I know. Wanted to know, what are some of the first things you can do if you're an aspiring MC to develop this skill and to get on stages? Because that's often the struggle here is like, I don't have the experience. How do I get the experience so that I can be paid? What do you recommend?
So I feel like at one point we used to all be 6 degrees of separation. Remember, like we're 6 people away from someone that we know. Now I believe we're one connection between Facebook, LinkedIn. I know I see a lot of my fellow NSA friends and family. So the first thing I would do starting out is, does people know that you're an MC? Did you say, hey, Ramon, I'm an MC. Can I shadow you? Can I learn from you? Can I follow you? So I would just say, does your network know that you're an MC? Because you'd be surprised how many people would love to support you. So the first thing is I would do an update, my social media, my website. I will make a couple of phone calls. I will let people know. I will post that I'm an MC, but I would start with an announcement. Get a flyer created. If you don't have a graphic artist, go to Canva, create your own. Let the world know that you are now an MC and you're looking for work. I think you start there. I think sometimes make it complicated because guess what? The only way you get better is once you get work, right? But the first thing is, do people know that you actually are emceeing now? Do they know that it's a service that you offer? And many times we're not getting booked, not because we're good, it's because people don't know that we do it because we're not promoting the service. We're treating it like a side chick, and we should be treating it like the main chick, right? Like you're treating it like the side chick and not the wife, right? So if you want more MC opportunities, you have to elevate her to wife status so people will honor, respect, and appreciate her. But if you treat emceeing like your side chick, it will be overlooked. And we don't want to go down this rabbit hole, Phil, but we all know the difference between a side chick and the wife.
That's really well said. Another question that came up from Devin is, what are some ways to learn how to become a better MC other than attending this event? Because I think you're going to get a lot of gold today, but what are some other recommendations you have just on improving the skill?
So two things that I would do is I have one thing I would say, find yourself a mem. What is a mem? A mentor in your mind, right? So let's take Ramon. Ramon is amazing. When I first started, I don't know if he remembers that. I was like, I want to be an MC. I reached out to my people. They were like, you need to talk to Ramon. I send him a message. We got on the phone. We talked and all that good stuff. But I started watching his stuff. Guess what? He has stuff on YouTube. He has videos. So you can go and you can watch and you can figure out. I wasn't trying to necessarily be a Ramon Jr. and I don't want anybody to be a Quinn, right? But I watch and I develop my own style. So I will watch other MCs and I'm like, okay, this is what I like. This is how I would switch this off. Oh, I like the way they transitioned. I like the way they introduced themselves. So I would first off like, there are MCs out here, right? Like I could be a meme to you. I don't know, but you might start watching and been watching some of my videos. Kate is amazing, right? There's another one. Alec, if you don't know who he is, he's a great MC as well, right? So start watching other MCs and see how they're opening and closing and you'll develop your style. And then once you get on stage, that will be your way to kind of perfect your craft. And then secondly is get yourself some MC education. Google University and YouTube College is great. But there are people out there like me, and I know a few others, we're going to have a special guest later on, who are teaching people how to become MCs. Just like you took a course on how to become a better storyteller or a class, or you joined the National Speakers Association to improve your craft, now is the time to get serious about investing in your MC education. So either one, find you a mentor in your mind. And sometimes if you reach out, they will reach out because I have conversations with people all the time. And then number two, invest. At one point, you just can't be picking people's brain over and over again. I'm sure they have a program, a class, a webinar that you can watch on how to improve your skill set as an MC.
Well, the fact that you mentioned Ramon, it's a great time for you to introduce him and bring him into the conversation. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so I am super excited about this. You know, Ramon and I connected originally when I was getting started within my MC craft, and someone had recommended I reach out, and we had a great conversation. And then Ramon and I share, you know, NSA together, as well as he hosted one year NSA Influence. I hosted NSA Influence, which is the largest gathering of professional MCs. And we also got to share the stage at Social Media Marketing World with Phil. So you are all in for a treat. You know, Ramon and I are going to have a conversation really about how the show must go on and how we, you know, respond to the unexpected, because that's part of our MC superpower. When everything goes according to plan, we are not needed. But when things go left or right or off, that's when we are absolutely needed. So some of you may already know about Ramon and some of you are meeting him for the very first time. Let me tell you how awesome and amazing he really is. He is a 4-time entrepreneur. He's a best-selling author. He is a global keynote speaker who's built and sold multiple successful businesses. He is known for bringing unmatched energy and insight and authenticity to every single stage. He inspires audiences to think bigger and bolder. And he may be the only MC right now who is in another country, but he is with us right here, right now. I want you to go ahead and put RR in the comments and give Ramon some love.
Hey, Quinn, thanks for having me here. It's good to be here. Appreciate you so much.
We are so excited to have you. So let's kick this thing off, right?
Absolutely.
So
and Quinn, before you go on,
yeah.
I just want to say, Quinn, it is always beautiful seeing how you soar. Your colors, your sneakers, how your imagery, how your alliteration, how you do what you do is a pleasure. And I love watching you, learning from you. So I just want to say it's an honor to share the stage with you. I think it's the first time, yes, we've been together at SMMW, but like this. So I just want to uplift you, and girl, you got it going on. Side chick, main chick, wife, all the alliteration stuff you said. I'm probably mixing a few, can't know which chick has the sneaker and all that stuff, but you are the bomb. So I just want to say it's an honor to share the stage with you. And again, Phil, big brother Phil, little brother Phil, thank you for having us. Appreciate it, what you're doing. Quinn, back to you.
Yeah, thank you for the love. I appreciate that. And it's people like you that gave me the courage and the confidence to go after it, right? Because when we got into this business, there was not a lot of people prioritizing MC. So I'm grateful for the conversation that we have. So let's talk about this, right? There are several different ways that people come into the MC business. And I think that if we're doing this, we all get asked the question, how did you get started? How did you find this? And I heard from a little birdie that you got started because there was an incident with you in the United Nations that landed you here.
Yes, there was. I was flying in my secret plane. I was suspended in midair on a C-41 plane, diving into. No, I was joking. It wasn't that dramatic. Yes, I worked at the United Nations until I was fired. My contract wasn't renewed, and I became a speaker. So that wasn't quite those dots. I know time is short, but yes, I had a career at the United Nations. And Quinn, ironically, it was there that I was doing some speaking where kind of I've watched others learned, and you can't get better. I mean, it's a different world, but United Nations definitely, I wouldn't say has the best speakers, but meaning that is the biggest global platform of world leaders speaking and sharing ideas. Ironically, few of us are sharing ideas that if you go wrong, somebody can die. But in the UN, these are things where people can die. Well, this is a opportunity to do it. So I learned there and led a press conference, ironically, Quinn, and that was the last one I gave. But my boss was like, nah, whatever you just did, it's not UN-ish. So this ain't working. That's not why I was fired, but ironically, my talents and what I use today, not quite UN-ish, but definitely it's good for corporate America. So thank you, Quinn. That little birdie was correct.
No, I love that. And I also want to bring in John into this conversation because we're talking about the unexpected,
Sure.
and Phil, you mentioned a little bit earlier, the difference between an MC and a speaker. And the difference, one of the main differences is we got to be quick on our feet. I mean, I've taken an improv class too, you know what I mean? Just to become better with on our feet. And, one of the things that I know we have a lot of MCs I really want to dive into, like, how do we manage the unexpected? So, John, one of the biggest things, and I know that you feel the same way, is making sure that we get names right, right? So let's talk about that. What do you do if you tried your best and you still either butchered her name? Is there a way that us as MCs can get names better? Like, what do we do if we try, we still miss, or can we prepare differently to get those names right so we can do that keynote speaker, that sponsor justice?
Well, one is I'm having a social media like reunion moment because Ramon, Quinn, and I all emceed with Phil in San Diego in San Diego earlier this year. Okay, now going back to the names, my friend shared this story. Here's her name, Quinn, Srijata Bhatnagar. And let me tell you, I saw her speak. I'm in the audience trying to support her. And this MC just murders her name. In fact, I think the MC actually said, I think I just murdered your name. And I think it's so important that we get these names. This is why I'm going to put a chat in here. This is the way that she told me too, is that it's spelled Srijata Bhatnagar, but it's not BH. It's actually BV if you say it correctly. So I spend a lot of time writing phonetics out for people's names because I just feel it's so important to get somebody's name right. It's the first thing people hear before they go speak. Back to you.
Absolutely. And Ramon, I'm going to come to you. Did you have moments where you practiced the name and got it right and they appreciate it? Or was there a time where something went completely left on stage and you were able to turn it around?
Yeah, I think I'm the king and queen and side chick and wife of going left. Quinn, I like that thing. So I'm gonna pull on that for a while here, a minute here. And John, good to have this room with you, John. I think a few things I'll say, not just about name Quinn, but I'll take it just overall making mistakes. As you know, Quinn and John, I serve on the biggest and best stages in the world. Aspire Tour, I've hosted Small Business Expo, I've hosted SMMW, I've hosted South by Southwest, been there. Beautiful, beautiful big events. I'm honored to be in, and small events as well. And two things come to mind. I was at an event with Entrepreneur. Quinn, you can't get bigger in our world than emceeing with Damon John. Mm-hmm. He's next. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Listen. I had given the offer, by the way. I gave the offer. So I assume on the offer, that means you have to go sell something. Ladies and gentlemen, please do X, Y, Z. I go to the back of the room. Quinn and John, the voice of God comes on and says, Ramon, everybody, please don't go anywhere. Be seated. Damon John's next. I wanted to crawl into a hole. Now, in fairness, Quinn, as we know MCs, it really wasn't like low-key my fault. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I owned it publicly. Another tip, I owned it publicly. But what I do for me, because I'm not as smart as John, like going over the details in Quinn, I use humor to my advantage, Quinn. So I immediately, when I heard the voice of God, I said, can you believe it? Damon John's coming next. By the time I finished, it was just 30 seconds, but I moved the energy So people were laughing. It was humorous. People stood up on their feet. Damon John felt good. He hugged me and said, "What's up, Ramon?" Nobody knew. So that's one, just the aspect of humor. Number two, Quinn, and I hope I'm not going too long here, but just want to give an example of, thank you, messing up. I was doing a big event with Black Enterprise. And again, wasn't my event. Quinn, I promise you, please don't look at me side-eyed and be like, "Ramon, 2 times is not your fault. Something's wrong with you, bro." No, 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 really. I'm reading the cue card. It's on the cue card, which was given to me. Senior Vice President. I said the title wrong, Quinn and John. "Ladies and gentlemen, please introduce," say it's Quinn Conyers, "intern." That's what the cue card said. You know what I'm saying, John? I hear you. It said intern on the cue card. I don't know this dude. I went backstage. The producer was mortified. She said, "Ramon, why'd you call him intern?" "That's what your people gave me. You know, behind the scenes, we can chew people out of it." Point is, she said, "Ramon, we got to correct it." So I went back, similar thing, a little bit of humor, but I noticed she needed to have him uplifted. So I had the audience join me in recognizing him, how amazing he was. He stood there, his chest was out. He thought he got a Grammy Award. So I hope that's helpful. But my point is, I'm trying to say here is humor and or big upping when you make a mistake. If you do it well, people often will forget. So hope that's helpful, Quinn and John. That's how I do it.
Oh my gosh, it's so helpful, so helpful. I absolutely love that. And speaking of, I'm going to pass it to John really quickly. I think we have a special video from one of our epic MCs, Miss Devin, and then we're going to get the conversation going with Ramon and I again.
All right. Let me introduce this. Thank you so much, Quinn. And we have this amazing MC who's actually here, right? We have video clips from another top MC. She's an epic event MC for DMP Creative. She's got 20 years of experience and has MP'd MPI IMEX and won an award at the Smart Woman Summit. This MC is known as the Lady in Red, and she's in an airport lounge. Let's hear it for Devin Pasha. Devin, say a word from this airport lounge.
Hi, everyone. So it's an epic travel day, and I was going to be here, then I was not going to be here, and now here I am in an airport lounge. Still coming to you live, of course, with my epic MC family. Snaps to Phil and John, Raymond, Quinn, and the rest of my team who just lift and lift and lift. So John and I had an amazing time recording some common questions and having a vibe that I wanted to share because I wasn't going to be here, but the universe said, you got to show up, you got to get energy from your people. So John, let it rip.
All right, Devin. All I can tell you is 2 words: Caesar salad. Think about your 3 high horse things that you would want to get on, which is like, you don't want to pay your MC, right? It's basically, you might as well not pay anybody.
You spend more on Caesar salad than you probably do on having an MC.
That is genius. I want to see the video with a Caesar salad. Like, make a bowl of Caesar salad and record this video going, "You pay more for your Caesar salad than this." And let me just share like 3 ways that I add more value than Caesar salad. Back to you, Quinn.
I love that. And it's so good to see you, Devin. Every time I see your face, I just light up. So we're going to continue this conversation so far. And Ramon, I'm going to come back to you, right? Because I'm just curious. I know we did a poll before. How many of you are MCs? Like, type me in the comments. Like, you're here because you want to learn how to position yourself, how to get more MC opportunities, how to get paid the fee that you deserve, you desire. I see me lighting up in the comments. Now, you really want to pay attention to this because Ramon and I are absolutely positively on the same page. We treat this like a business. That is the way that you transition from a hosting hobby to a profitable and lucrative business. So for all those people, to Matthew, to Colleen, to Sherry, to Connie, who wrote me in the comments, what would your advice, Ramon, be to those MCs? How can they make this a business? What's 1 or 2 things?
I think a few things, Quinn. And again, thank you for that space. And this is not easy. And I encourage you all, rock with Phil, things he's doing, what he's doing with Quinn. Quinn is the best of the best. So definitely, I think you have a group there on Facebook, all the things you said, Quinn. Feel free. Please say that again. Y'all leverage and lean into this. Quinn. See, I got her name. See, Queen. Well, Quinn is a queen. Quinn knows what she's doing. There we go. Okay. Quinn's like, Ramon, that's the name that you don't have to apologize for. You can call me Queen all day. But follow what Quinn is doing and Phil. They're good people and doing the real things. But I think a few things I would say. I think 1, Quinn, yes, you have to be the best at what you do. Quinn, I know you all that in a bag of chips. John isn't, others here. By God's grace, only because we're helping others, right, Quinn? I'm one of the best MCs in the world. That's what I've been called by my clients, by my paying repeat clients. That's what they say. So that's number 1. I think number 2, if you are that, you really have to be able to navigate and not be afraid to say what your price is and then shut let me say the right word, Quinn. Just shut up. Say what your fee is and shut up. And I don't mind talking fees on this, right? This is not an NSA. I can talk my fee. So my fee is $25,000 to host an event. Now that's a major corporate client with one of them fat budgets, right, Quinn? You know, they hired Renée Brown, they hired Damon John. I know what time it is, people. That's my fee. And then I smile and wait. See, the science of silence feels uncomfortable. I won't have silence now because John may wonder what's going on. So that's one. Be quiet, meaning that's longer than that, but kind of the essence is once you've shown your value and you know you're talking to, then be quiet. Number two, Quinn, for me, it's no problem negotiating, but I do negotiate with strength, not starting from the bottom up saying, oh, could I get some cold hot dogs after the event, please, too? What? No, not, could you spot me $5? No, you're starting from strength. You need me at your event to make success. And I think I'll turn it over to you, Quinn, because you say it so well. But I think I'm just really repeating and unpacking, Quinn, what you said, the aspect of know your value. You're having an event. There's 700 people. There's 3 video cameras. You have sponsors. The event you want to elevate. You're tired of having it look like, some low-class event in the bottom of a broken down church somewhere. I go to church, people, calm down. My point, though, is that you want to elevate your event. So therefore, if you want to do that, you need to have the host and MC that knows how to move things along, how to bring the energy. When things go wrong, they know what to do. Quinn, back to you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And we all start somewhere, you know what I mean? And one of the things I say to transition from a hosting hobby to a real business is first and foremost, like Ramon said, you got to be able to verbalize your value. You have to understand that we love what we do, but a lot of event planners and meeting planners don't really understand what an MC does. So in their mind, they think, well, all you're going to do is introduce speakers and all you're going to do is introduce the sponsors. We can get Jenna to do that. And Jenna might be great at her job, but just because she's a warm body doesn't mean that she's qualified to be the MC, right? Jenna, thank you for letting me play with you a little bit, right? But that's the thing. You have to verbalize your value. So one of the things is you got to get really good with your conversations and your sales calls, explaining. This is one of my famous lines. If you want someone to simply introduce speakers and sponsors, I'm not the right MC for you. I take myself out of it. And then I say, however, if you want someone who can activate every attendee before your event, on stage and off stage, I just might be the MC that you're looking for. When I get you nodding and I get you smiling, we're on the same page. So you have to completely differentiate why they should be hiring you versus getting boring board member Bob to read names, right?
Quinn, come on now. You like preaching, Quinn. You doing a masterclass. Keep going. I'm just going to mute. I'm going to go off stage and I'm going to sit back here and get a cup of hot chocolate. Quinn, you on fire. Go ahead.
No, I'm coming back to you.
This is powerful.
And I'm going to ask you this, because one of the biggest things I learned while, this is not even an MC thing, this is a business thing, because we're talking about the business, is one of the things that you can do is work with the willing. Stop trying to convince somebody that Bob isn't the right person and get them to hire you. Now you're selling twice. There are so many meeting and event planners who are paying Ramon's 25, who are paying, my fee. I'm not at 25 yet. I'm going to get there, right? I'm going to get there. But there are people out there who already believe. So instead of trying to convince someone that they should have a professional MC, what are the industries and organizations that already hire MCs? Just like they make a short list of keynote speakers, there's people out there making a short list of MCs and they're trying to figure out which one to hire. You don't have to convince them on why an MC should be hired. What do you think about that, Ramon?
I love that, Quinn. I want to be clear on the fee as well, because I want to let people know, I like transparency and we're teaching here. So and I just want to go back to the 25K. I say that as a teaching moment, but that's the fee I'm able to say without stuttering. I'm able to say without feeling embarrassed. I'm able to say because I know the value, meaning Marcus Lemonis is going to get 100K. Gary Vaynerchuk getting 100K. Those are the events, oftentimes, not all, but I can rock with that I've been hired on. So I know if those stars, because they're in TV, that's the only difference. They're getting 100K. I'm at 25. So I just want to give that clear. But listen, Quinn, don't tell, just between me and you, Quinn, don't even let John, just close your ears a minute. Phil, close your ears. Will Ramon take 10, 15, what? We'll do a little something. Absolutely, we can work it out. So I just wanted to honor that, But Quinn, yeah, here's what I would say. One of the metrics I do, do you have sponsors? And who are the sponsors? Am I talking about like Chicken Little or Pookie down the block? I'm talking about you got sponsors that have money. So that's number one. Number two, how many people are coming to your event? And have you done it before? You got 500, 1,000, 800, maybe 300, 400, depends on the type, but there's a matrix here I'm getting to. That's one thing. Number two, just kind of casually, you have 3 video cameras. You have 2 video cameras. Video camera crews are not cheap. You got 2 or 3 photographers. Those are clues to me. Number 4, you're having it in a hotel or like a proper place. You have it in Las Vegas. Nobody lives in Las Vegas. Nobody lives there. It's a myth. Trust me, nobody lives in Las Vegas. I'm joking, but people fly in for it. So that means it has to be a sizable event. So that's number 2. Number 4. So things like that, Quinn, are how I start to know. And again, as I said, everything's a negotiation. And I'm guessing, Quinn, you'd agree with that. You got your friends. We got people who are doing stuff at a smaller event. Okay, I know what that is. And that's my choice, how I want to invest being in that. But there's no question, those bigger events that have the metrics I give, now we're talking about you are already laying out money. So it's not a conversation of if you need an MC, if you're getting one. Now we're talking about how much you want to invest in the best type of event, if that's helpful.
Yeah, and one of the things I do say too is, if you prioritize the attendee experience, do you want your attendees to be bored or do you want them to be mind blown? Because they can be mind blown for 45 minutes or for 60 minutes, but I'm going to be the one to make sure they keep coming back after session. So one more thing that I'll add to this as well, as we talk about the business and the fees, and I saw a question, Jasmine, I'm gonna try to get to you in just a second, is a lot of us have our top, right? Whatever your top is, but make sure if you're running a business, you have your bottom. There should just be certain fees you're not doing it for anymore. If you have $500, God bless your heart. That is a love offering, not a fee, not an honorarium, right? Like, I appreciate you. And had you caught me in 2006, I might have done it for $500. But where I am now, the time, the experience, the investment that I put into my career, I'm gonna need you to add 1 or 2 zeros. So you have to also be willing to walk away. So we talk about the number that we want, whether it's, 50,000, 25,000, or 10 grand, but also too, don't sell yourself short and undercut yourself. So what is your bottom number? We know our top, but it could be, I'm not doing anything less than $1,000, and stand on that. When you start standing on your chest, you will get respected in this MC streets. Ramon.
Quinn, I love her trying to find an unmute button, here in Dominican Republic, making sure, all the stuff going around. But Quinn, that was fire. I was fire. And I think talking to those who are just starting out, I think one, self-promote yourself. The lack of self-promotion is probably one of the biggest things that any speaker or host. Come on, Quinn, am I right? Self-promote yourself. Number 2, videotape yourself. Now, don't videotape yourself on some cheap, broken stage with plastic cups in the background with duct tape showing. Not that. Come on, Katie. Am I right? You want to videotape yourself on a dope stage. Forgive the vernacular, but I think you understand what I mean. That's number 2. Lights, camera, action. Number 2. Number 3, start to ask, how did I do? Was this useful for you? Get testimonials. Have them put it on LinkedIn. But I think the number one thing, Quinn, for those who are starting out, videotape yourself, self-promote yourself, share those reels, have a good quality speaker ready page, and be really good at what you do. And I can't exercise that enough. And then the way you'll know if you're good at what you do, people will begin to ask you and ask you again. Quinn, that happens to Quinn all day long. Quinn, can you come back? When can you come back? This will be all day long. Thank you so much, Cricket. It was good. Good to see you here, Cricket. How you doing? Back to you, Quinn.
And what I love too, shout out to Cricket. I see a bunch
of my
fellow MC NSA people. Cricket is in the building. I think I saw Kristen as well. Brown, also some amazing speakers and MCs. One of the things that I do love about the business of MCing, and Ramon, I want to throw this to you before we go to one of our amazing sponsors, is the ability to earn what I call repeat revenue. Write that in the comments, repeat revenue. It doesn't matter. And this is the big differentiator between the business of MCing versus the business of keynoting. Even if myself do an amazing job keynoting your conference, you will not invite me back next year to keynote. However, if I do an amazing job as an MC, you can invite me back year after year after year. Literally, I have MC in residence contracts that I am their go-to MC 3, 4, 5 years in a row. So let's talk about that for a second as far as the business side. What is the repeat revenue opportunity as an MC that many of MCs might not even be thinking about, or look, you might just do it once and move on. No, as an MC, ask to come back in 2026.
That's right, Quinn. There's two dimensions of that. One, there's the one-time repeats, the once-a-year event. And then there's the events that the businesses that have multiple things they do. They got the event in Bali, Quinn, you know what I'm saying? They got this little side event with only 3,000 people in Hawaii. Those other events are doing, the corporate events are doing. So the way for repeat on that is, once you do well, here's what I think we're trying to impact. And I love doing this at you, Quinn. This is so good. Love vibing with you like this. Is that you are safe You are secure for them. They don't have to worry about getting somebody else. Once you've done it 3 or 4 times, you know the drill. You know where the door is. You know where the executives are. You know who other people are. You family. So that's, I think, what Quinn is. That's so good. Once you do that, you keep growing. I see you're not, Mika. You keep growing with them, growing with them, growing with them. And Quinn, remind me, I think this is the last question before I do some things here. But Quinn, is I supposed to do? I was supposed to do a raffle or a giveaway. Should I do that myself now, or should we do that later? That's part of the system. Sorry to cut in like this. I just want to respect Phil and John and what they're doing.
It's your show. We're just happy to be in the audience. Well,
for Phil, for you all being here, I'm going to raffle off a copy of Celebrity CEO. But here's what I'm going to do, Quinn. I am willing to give a copy to everyone who has the sound of my voice. If you want that book, I will mail it to you, but you just have to email me. No cheating. Don't put it in the chat. My email is very simple. Ramon@RamonRay.com. Ramon@RamonRay.com. See, John, you just cheated, John, but that's okay. I forgive you. Email me and I will send you a copy of my book. But Quinn, back to you. I just want to honor what Phil's doing here and recommend that. And please, if there's any activation y'all have to do part of this event, make sure you do that. Don't sidetrack the event here. Do all the things, register, tell all the people, and make sure you do good to Phil and John and Quinn, what they're doing. And I will do good back to you. Back to you, Quinn.
Oh, I love that. And oh my gosh, so many good questions. Make sure Ramon@RamonRay.com. Email him to get the book. Cricket, I did see your question. That's about finding your MC superpower. She asked about some of the MC tainers, right? So I'm calling it MC tainers. So like they're MCs, but they're also entertainers. Maybe they juggle, maybe they sing, maybe they dance, right? It's about finding your superpower. Some organizations want that combination, and someone just wants someone to keep it energized, keep the show on, because then it goes from, is this about serving the audience, or does it become making it a part of the MC? And most people don't want to be at events where now it becomes the Quinn Conyers show, right? I'm supposed to be a extension of the team, not the main draw. So certain types of events want a combination of like maybe magic or juggling, but there's some corporate events who just wants to make sure someone is going to keep the energy high. They want to make sure that the names are pronounced correctly. So it really is about finding your superpower and then finding the organizations who value your superpower. And there is more than enough business for all of us. Ramon,
Quinn,
any last minute thoughts?
Indeed, Quinn, I just want to, I was going to say I want to sneak in, but since you gave me the mic, I don't have to sneak in. I'm here. But I just want to underline that, Quinn. That is so powerful, which is why I love how you alliterate, how you teach this, Quinn. You do it so well. You and what Phil was doing and John, and how y'all doing this together. I love it. But I just want to underline that. Hosting, and it's a fine line. You are on stage, you have the mic, you have the camera and all this or not, but Quinn's right, because you start making it about you upstaging the CEO, upstaging, you trying to be funny too much. People can sense that, and they won't tell you, but they won't like it. But there's a way for you to be upfront, on stage, use your humor, but your job is pretty simple. Bring people on, highlight that person, bring people off, highlight, who just went, make sure that the housekeeping and the sponsors and the energy transfer. So what Quinn just said, that's something even for those who may be a bit new, you may think, oh, I'm the host. It's all about me. Let me get my 20-minute opening. Wrong. Nope. Not your job. You have the mic and you have visibility, but it's a dance. And that goes back to, I guess, the EQ or IQ, all those things, those fancy TEDx people talk about, Quinn. Back to you.
I love it. Thank you, Ramon, for that awesome and amazing session.
Thank you, Quinn.
Put Ramon in the comments if you enjoyed that session, because I don't know. I'm taking notes. Listen, y'all. Look, I have notes, so I'm learning and I'm leading. With that being said, Phil, I'm going to pass it to you. I think we have somebody awesome you want to introduce who's supporting this Emcee Summit and the overall MC role. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I just want to highlight something Ramon does really well, is he knows how to add to the value that he's created. He articulates it. He's done this with me. He's done it for others. Setting your price actually allows him to move an event from a low price to a higher price, because now all of a sudden they understand the value. And Ramon, I just want to call you out for doing that super well. We do have a couple of sponsors in today's event, and the next one is Debbie Garcia. She's with a company called Versatour that she started. And it's a platform for both event producers and MCs. If you're an event professional, a planner, this is absolutely free. It helps you find venues and talent in any city that you want to go to in the US, and I think eventually all over the world. But if you're an MC, it's kind of like a speaker agent for free. You only pay a little bit if you get a gig from it. So I encourage everybody to sign up. But one thing about Debbie is I think she's finally figured out how to do teleportation, because she allows us to go see our venues without a jet, and we can actually get an inside look at them. So Debbie, tell us about your platform and how we can all use it.
Sure. I just wanted to let you guys know that after more than 20 years in this industry, I noticed something never changed. And honestly, it really got worse. And when you're planning an event, you can find a hotel really easily. But when it comes to everything else, like your MCs, your entertainment, your transportation decor, your production, you're suddenly down a Google rabbit hole. I mean, seriously, that is how an event planner is. You're scrolling social media and begging for referrals. And then there's not one single reliable place to find people who actually bring events to life. And I was one of those people that was looking for DJs and MCs and producers and creators and all different creators. And I found a way for them to be discovered by planners who are actively sourcing and ready to book. And that's where the gap of Versatour fills. So there's a little slide there. It tells you what we are, but Versatour essentially is a digital sourcing platform that connects planners, suppliers, and destinations all in one place using virtual site tours, visuals, demo reels, and RFP tools. But unlike most other platforms that focus on hotels only, Versatour showcases everything a planner needs for a full event. Hotels, yes, but also venues, event services, destinations, and talent like you out there. So for the planners who are here today, it means that you can source all the categories of your event in one place. We actually have an MC category. I didn't leave you guys out. I know how important and how different you guys are from being a keynote and how different that is for sourcing. You can view videos and virtual site tours before even sending an RFP. So you can see things side by side, all in one place, and verify who you want to actually send an RFP to, and compare proposals side by side with full transparency. For event professionals, it means you're finally discoverable right where the planners are already searching. And like I said, we already have that service type for MCs. So you're not buried under these algorithms or lost in social fees. You're positioned side by side with hotels, venues, and where the decisions actually happen. So people always ask me, why did you do this? And so I, much like John that I heard this morning, he kind of had a come to whatever God you believe in moment back in the pandemic, when planners were desperate to keep business moving without travel and suppliers had lost their visibility. And it hit me in the industry, but I wanted to have a digital space that people really connect. So planners needed smarter way to source, suppliers needed a fair, transparent way to be found and paid, and talented people like MCs, entertainers, and service providers needed a seat at the table, not just a hashtag. So Versatour brings everyone together in one ecosystem. This reduces burnout, wasted time, and those endless back and forth emails. So here are some QR codes right here. There's one side for planners and one side for these services or the suppliers. So if you're a planner, scan the QR code. It's completely free to join. You get access to our sourcing tools, RFP templates, comparison reports, and you can source beyond hotels. And for your suppliers or MCs here in the building or in the virtual building, the code to the right, and this is how planners will find you. It is free for you to join also. There's only a 10% commission after the event consumes, and we have a complete commission portal. It's super easy, so you're getting visibility. So our industry doesn't just need another directory, we need the bridge that connects each other. And I thank Phil and the team for bringing me on to give you guys the newest and best platform out there for sourcing.
Hey, everybody, give it up for Debbie. Put Versatour in the chat. It is an incredible app. I've had a chance to look at it, and it's something I wish was around a long time ago as a planner, but also as a speaker, MC, and musician. It's like both worlds come together in this tool. It's pretty incredible. So thank you, Debbie, for being here and supporting the show. We're going to move on and talk about a part of this conversation that many of you probably wonder about. What are we thinking as event planners and event producers? And so Ramon's going to introduce a couple of members of this panel, and Quinn's going to come back on, and we're going to talk for a while about how do event planners think. So go for it, Ramon.
Hey, Phil, thank you so much. And Phil, let me know if it's okay. This rainstorm will stop in about 7 seconds, but let me know, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if it's like overwhelmingly horrible. Okay, it's okay. Good. There's a rainstorm happening now. So for me, it sounds like thunder's doing it, but that's great. because I'm about to introduce two people who are going to bring the house down right now. One is the absolutely amazing Colleen Connor. Colleen Connor is a certified meeting professional with 20 plus years of experience producing conferences and events that run smoother than a sound check, which means she's experienced and she's absolutely amazing. And Colleen, welcome. Glad you're here. Colleen is known for keeping complex productions calm, which is important, on time, very important, and absolutely unforgettable. And rumor has it that she can run a show, fix a cue sheet, and order a latte all before most of us find our badges. So Colleen, glad you're here. Second of all, yes, indeed, Kate, come on. Kate needs a badge herself. Kate's like the cheerer on in the video screen. So Colleen, welcome and glad you're here. Second of all, but definitely not least, I want to introduce my friend, the person I go to when I get those budgets to produce an event, is Liz Caruso. Liz Caruso has been with me for 10 years or more. She's one of the first people I came to when I produced my first event. Now, sidetrack on that. Liz produces events for some amazing, amazing people, amazing brands. She's all that in a bag of chips. But I have a personal stake in this because Liz personally is just an amazing first-class professional. She is one of the most caring, most empathetic event managers that I know. And I find my events and her clients' events are safe in her hands. Liz is experienced. Liz knows what she's doing. She has a great team. She just brings it, and you know your event is going to go flawless with Liz. Or if it doesn't go flawless, nobody will know except you and Liz. Listen, Colleen, Liz, welcome to the stage. Glad y'all here. Quinn, I'm going to turn it back to you. Take it over with these amazing ladies. And Quinn, you are an amazing person. What you've done, Phil, again, as I kind of go exit stage, I'm just grateful to be here. Back to you all today. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to have this conversation. And I know this is like, from when Phil and I were talking, the most anticipated session of today, because Colleen and Liz, I'm telling you right now, I know notepads and pens are ready. So first off, before I kick off, I just want to say thank you for believing in the MC role. Because you're here, we know that boring board member Bob is not top of your list to hire. You understand the importance of having a professional MC. So I want to start there. Liz, I'm coming to you first. Why do you believe in an MC? Because everybody doesn't. Everybody still says, oh, we'll spend money on the Caesar salad. We'll hire a keynote speaker, an AV person, and then MC will get Karen from accounting, right? Like, why do you believe in the role?
Well, I think there's just such a skill, which is one of those things I don't have to preach to you all about, but we often have to talk to our clients about it because they want to include boring Bob, the board member. But the thing is that I think what the biggest kind of misconception that we deal with when we're working with our clients is that they believe that those people, whoever they are, that they want to put on stage, are important because of the relationship they have with, let's say, the other speakers, or they feel like they're the ones who did all the outreach. They're the ones who know these people. But the problem is, again, which I'm not really teaching any of you, it's a whole different skill set to be able to introduce those people. And I think that the MC role is so much more than that. It's keeping the pace. It's rolling with the changes. And I find that the people sending those emails all day, they're great to have those relationships, but they are absolutely frozen when things are running 5 minutes late and we need to shift and this person is not coming on time and we got to change the whole schedule. They're relying often on like these cue cards that they've prepped out in advance that they have memorized. And as soon as that changes, they're lost. And so, but it's a complicated dance with people who don't get it, which is many clients, because they just think, I'm going to be great. It's going to be fine. I know all these people. I'm the director of XYZ. I'm the CEO, blah, blah, blah. And so I need to be the one who's there.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for that kind of insider. So we get frustrated with them, but the planners are thinking quite differently, right? They're trying to almost give them face time, but this is what's happening in the back of their mind. So I'm glad that you're here, Liz, and I'm going to come to you, Colleen, as well. And Phil, I have a question to you because you believe in hired MCs, too. And I want you to see them because, again, many of us are thinking like, well, who are the people? These are the type of people. Listen to what they're saying that hire MCs. So Colleen, I am coming to you. You're hosting an event. You need an MC. Where are you going to find them, right? Because we're asking ourselves, should I be on LinkedIn? Should I be on YouTube? Should I make sure my website? Do I need a fancy reel? You need an MC. What is your search process to find an MC that's a good fit for your client?
Quinn, I first want to just say thank you for having us, Liz and I, on this perspective, but also the passion on this call. I'm so grateful to see it. I love this group. This community is amazing. So thank you again for having us. In regards to MCs, a lot of the times we want to know like if someone else has seen them before, or it's really a community and a network to see who's connected with audiences. So that's a lot of the way that we approach it, that I approach it. And in my past, just have talked to people and said, who have you used that has connected? Sometimes they're local folks that connect with the local audience. Sometimes they're industry experts. So it depends on who and where, but it's mainly through a community.
Okay, so referrals. So
Mhm.
are you just curious, right? Because Patty has a good question. Are you going to eSpeaker? Are you going to Gig Salad? Are you going to bash.com? Are you going to these websites that list speakers? Because again, we want to educate the MCs. We don't want you wasting 10 years filling out all these profiles. And then Colleen's like, hey, Liz, who do you know?
Well, and that's the thing, you said it right there earlier in the call. You mentioned speakers and MCs are different. So that's a very big differentiation of like identifying who's good at being an MC and who's a keynote speaker. So I wouldn't look for an MC in those like necessarily those speaker websites or those speaker areas. It's really just, I think you do have a niche. You guys are experts in your field, and MCing is a specialty.
Oh, I love that. Thanks for that clarification. So, Phil, I see you nodding your head, and I know that you source MCs for Social Media Marketing World and a few other organizations. You've gotten me, Leslie, you've gotten Ramon. Why did you advocate for this role so much? Because I don't know if the Social Media Marketing World started with having MCs or professional ones, and kind of why did you advocate for the role?
So early on, we were using speakers who wanted to be on stage, but we didn't have a spot. And so I didn't understand that a speaker and an MC were different. So we did that. But I probably learned it more because I was the main stage MC for about 6 years. And finally we realized, and Colleen and Liz, you'll understand this, that it's really impossible to be in charge of the event and the MC. And I did it, but it wore me out. But what I wasn't ready for, and I think one of you talked about being frozen if something went wrong. I didn't have the energy left to respond to that. If it went according to plan, totally fine. But I didn't have the mental space. And so what I saw, we decided then we're going to hire a professional. And when that happened, it took a huge weight off my shoulders. And when someone like you comes along, Quinn or Ramon, or someone who actually becomes part of the team, and I want to make sure that you're clear about this, someone who becomes part of the team takes pressure off. Someone who shows up to just perform is actually extra work for us. I don't know if you agree with that, Colleen and Liz, but for me, I would say that I want someone who's going to actually come and take pressure off and be part of it. And a great MC is on the entire event. It's not just those 5 minutes when they come on stage.
No, that's
it's
a great
entire time. And so I think
that's a
you're
great
looking
point.
for that kind of the person. And that's why I became convinced you need that. It's actually worth more money than many events are able to pay. Colleen, you wanted to add to that.
Well, I agree so much, because one of the things I noted that I wanted to share is being an MC and being a true partner with the event producer is important. Not only for the pronunciations that you mentioned earlier, but just being prepared to understand what the content that's being delivered, so you can actually connect and connect the dots. It could be an industry you're not familiar with. So just being involved, asking those questions as an MC on like how you can gain more insight into the content, that is huge. And then sitting in rehearsals, that could be helpful too, if the information is able to be shared. So I would always recommend that. And then just communicating to the event producer how you prefer your downstage monitor notes to be. Do you want them in bullets? Do you want them in a script? How do you like those? Because that helps you set you up for success as well. So it's really just preparation, in my opinion, is helping to allow not only our presenters to succeed, but also the MC, just to make sure they can connect with everything.
I love that, Colleen. I'm going to stay with you, and I'm going to bring this over to you, Colleen, and I'm going to have the same question for you, Liz. especially because a lot of people are trying to get on your radar, right? They like, I want Liz to know me. I want Colleen to know me. They might not know me, but I want them to know me. So let's say, for example, you reach out to Phil, you reach out to each other, you're looking for an MC, right? And they give you 3 names. How can we as MCs stand out? Is it a reel? Is it marketing materials? Are you looking at our recommendations? Like, what are you looking at to dwindle us down from like 5 to 1? Are you talking to all of us? Like, now that you have these 3 to 4 recommendations, how do you source who's the right fit? What's the criteria that make that person stand out to you?
I think I'll answer and then I'll turn it to Liz, but I think the biggest thing is the energy and the videos that you provide. Some really high quality videos are helpful. And then obviously references and referrals, like I said. So if you have great dynamic videos, and then you also have references or quotes or testimonials, then most likely Liz or myself might know those testimonial folks and just give them a call.
I mean, you heard it. What are event planners looking for? Write this down. Looking for energy, looking for video, and looking for references or referrals. So those are the things that you need to focus on. So maybe for the rest of 2025, get your energy up, which I think we all have, right? Check, right? Make sure you get some video, get some references, get some referrals. I love that, Colleen. Thank you. Liz, same question. You got 3 or 4 MCs. What are you looking for to choose your top 1 or 2 to present to your client?
I mean, I absolutely agree with all of those things. I think the only things I would add are clean, easy to read website. I don't want to find out about you on Instagram only. I want to be able to go somewhere that seems a little more professional, see a little more depth, and I want to be able to navigate it quickly. The energy that Colleen is talking about should be visible on your website. I shouldn't be like, this is the most boring website ever. And videos, multiple videos, nothing more than 30 seconds to a minute, because I don't want to watch a bunch, a highlight reel of you being amazing for 10 seconds at a time. And I also don't want to watch a full session. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what are you, when you have a few minutes to kill, what are some of the things that you're doing to kind of fill in time? Those are some of the things I'm looking for beyond a great introduction, which I feel like all MCs should be able to do. And you mentioned something earlier, Quinn, that I think is really important. You have to know your niche and like what you do really well, and kind of match yourself to those events. As the event organizers, we're trying to do the same thing. So if I'm at the point where I'm looking at a website, that's because Ramon's not available and my top 2 or 3 people aren't available, and I got some recommendations. At that point, I am looking for some more overlap, kind of as a safety thing. Like, I want there to be like an industry that fits, that you have like a specific knowledge of the industry or connections that fit. So in that way, I would like to see more than just, I'm a great energetic person, but I can fit in well with this event. If I had 5 and I could find 2 people who had some connection, I'd go for those 2 before I even bothered reaching out to the other 3.
I love that. So it comes to, like, we're MCs, but we're also entrepreneurs. We're business owners. So again, if you have, let's say, healthcare industry, you MC health events or you MC business events, that could also be beneficial. Now, I'm coming to this because I think this is a question that all of us MCs struggle with. So correct me if I'm wrong, MCs. I'm trying to have my brain and ask questions, and I know that you want Liz and Colleen and Phil to ask. What is the platform of choice, right? So before you get to the website, are you going to LinkedIn first to look for MCs? Are you going to Instagram? Are you going to YouTube to kind of do your digital background check? Because usually you're looking at that person too, right? Like, where are you going to find your MCs? Like, which social media platform? Phil, I'll start with you, then I'll go to Colleen and Liz.
My virtual Rolodex.
Okay.
I'm going to my network first, LinkedIn second. And if I go to LinkedIn and I don't see MC in your description, I'm moving on. Unless I know you. If I know you, I might ask. I actually counseled someone recently who is trying to become a professional. I said, well, where is it? It's not obvious to me or anyone else that you're actually trying to become a professional MC. So I am looking at network, because if I'm looking within an industry, I want someone who's adjacent or even in the industry. I'm not looking for someone who's in manufacturing or somewhere else. So that's where I'm starting, is who do I know? Who do they know? What other events are in the space? I'm looking at that too. So if there's events that I know, who are they hiring? Who are the ones they're happy with? And then just to add to what Liz and Colleen said, longer videos, Quinn, you did this. You had like a 2.5 to 3 minute video from NSA that showed me a ton about what kind of MC you are. So I want to see something a little bit longer, maybe longer than Liz likes to see, but I want to dig in. What are you like? Can you actually sustain something? What's your energy like? How articulate are you? So I would add that to the mix.
No, I love that. And I wrote that down for everyone make it obvious. If you say you're an MC, he said his Rolodex first, and then he goes to LinkedIn, right? And to your point, when it comes to video, I learned this from some other planners. They were like, everybody's doing a highlight reel. Give me a couple of minutes of you just going so I can see that it's not chopped to perfection, right? Because we want you to see the good stuff, but I want to see that you can hold an audience for a couple of minutes, right? So I love that. Colleen, you get a couple of names, what social media? Because what I'm trying to do by asking this question is getting people to put their time, their energy, and their effort to going where you're already looking. So it could be great if your YouTube page is all of these different, clips, but if you're going to LinkedIn, let's put our energy on LinkedIn. So again, where do you go? What social media platforms to kind of source and do your background check on MCs?
I definitely agree with Phil for the first two, network and LinkedIn for sure. What's interesting too is that sometimes on my personal Instagram, I will get the algorithm kicks out certain like MCs or keynotes, I think just based on what other sites I go to. So it just kind of shows up. So I don't know if that's paid media or if that's just an algorithm that happens. But just wanted to share that information because sometimes I just get unsolicited stuff on my Instagram personally.
Yeah, and I'm going to come back to that for a second. And I want to keep this question because I'm going to come to you too, Liz, because I know people want to know, like, I get this question all the time. Well, where should I put my energy? Should I be showing up and promoting my services on Instagram or LinkedIn, or where should I go? But one question I want you to think about is, do you want to be pitched, right? Like, let's say, for example, I know that I'm not on Liz's Rolodex. I know Colleen might not know who I am. I know Phil does, but like, do you want to be bombarded? Like, how does this work if somebody wants to get on your radar and they're not currently? So pause, hold on to that question. Liz, I'm coming to you. Where are you doing your digital background check if you find a couple of MCs that you like? What social media platforms are you going to?
I feel like we could go to the next question because that's where I'm going. Same places as Colleen and Phil. LinkedIn, I think, is the gold because it will take me everywhere else, but I can also see the mutual connections, which is something you're not able to easily see on Instagram. To some extent, professional connections that overlap make it a lot easier.
Candace says, I hear you, because I have an academy of MCs that I train and I teach them. I'm like, get on LinkedIn. That's where the event planners are. Stop stressing yourself off of Instagram. They're not looking there. They're like posting pictures of their cats. They're being humans. When they're on LinkedIn, they're at work mode. They're trying to find a speaker or an AV person. So I'm glad you're picking up what I'm putting down. All right. So
I add something there real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Phil.
Don't underestimate YouTube. Like if you're creating good quality videos, put them on YouTube because YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. Well, maybe AI is taking over. So once you're there, people are going to find more and they can find like a playlist of you. So don't underestimate that, but that's not where I'm starting. LinkedIn and personal networks are going to send me there.
Got you. And thank you, John. I see that follow Richard Bliss and Leah Bliss for LinkedIn and Nate Woodry for YouTube. So that's some information there. So a lot of people on this call as MCs are just starting out, they're emerging, or maybe they want to raise their hosting fee at a 0 or 2, right? And they're trying to figure out, like, how do I get on Liz's radar? How do I get on Colleen's radar? How do I make sure that Phil knows about me? Like, I'm probably not in their orbit. I'm not in their Rolodex. If someone is an MC and they want you to know them, what are some things they should do and shouldn't do? Because nobody wants to be spammed, right? But Phil, if somebody wants to get on your radar and they want to be top of mind, if you are looking for MCs, how do they get on your radar or get into your Rolodex as an MC?
Well, I'll just say this. Cold emails almost never work.
Say it again, Phil.
Cold emails and cold direct messages on LinkedIn almost never work. I'm not going to say never because there have been a couple of exceptions. A warm introduction from another MC who I trust can work, but it depends on if I'm in the mode of looking. So if I'm not looking, then it also becomes noise. But if you can become a reliable friend, Sheeta and I met because she had read my book a year ago. and she's not trying to find MCs, but this is a great example. She reached out because she saw another post. So what I would recommend is start commenting on the posts of people that you want to get on their radar. Start adding value to their community. They're going to start knowing who you are. Devin Montgomery, or Pasha, who's on here, she did that with me, and it's taken a long time, but play the long game. Play the long game. I know you want the short-term gigs, and they may be out there, but that's probably going to come because you've built your network over time. So that's me. I don't know.
Where are they commenting, Phil? Where are they commenting and engaging?
Well, again, what's your platform of choice? So I would say this to an MC: if you're not on LinkedIn, then go on Instagram. Go all in on Instagram. Go where you are. But most of us are on LinkedIn. So learn how to do that. Find my post. I literally just find my post, especially if I'm talking about emceeing. Kelly Francis is on here. She did that. That's actually how I got to know her. She started commenting on my post. Kate Garnes did the same thing. She commented on the post about this event, and I got to know her as a result of that. And, that's led to other cool things that are going to happen. So that's my 2 cents. Colleen or Liz, go for it.
Yeah, Colleen, I'll come to you. Same question. How can people get on your radar without getting on your nerves?
No, I honestly, again, it's very similar to Phil. It's really just engaging with the different industries and whatever you really want to connect with in different communities. That's how it's honestly, LinkedIn's really my main social. I don't do a lot of other social media. So going into LinkedIn and looking, I don't post a lot, but I definitely look a lot at different content. I need to be better. I know there's definitely opportunity for me to be better in regards to posting, but I just do a lot of connecting on LinkedIn.
And here's what I'll say before I transfer over to Liz. And thank you for that, because I think that a lot of times we tend to be all over the place as an MC trying to promote ourselves, and we just need to be all in. So I'm definitely a fan of being all in on, LinkedIn. And one of the things that Colleen just said that I really just want to kind of highlight for a second is usually when I get to the point where I'm talking to a planner like Liz or Colleen, you know what they say? I've been watching you. So we don't know if they've been watching for years. We don't know if they've been watching for days. We don't know if they've been watching for months. So they might not comment, but you want to make sure that you're visible and active, because when they need you, they're ready to go, right? So she might not say anything, but you'd be surprised who knows you that you might not know that they know you. Mm-hmm. So you might not think that you're on Liz's or Colleen's or Phil's radar, but they actually may know who you are because they've been watching. They don't have a need right now, right? So keep that in mind. Liz, same question to you. How can people, and it might be the same, or you might have a different perspective. How can, people make sure that you know about them as an MC?
Yeah, for me, I think it's the thing I would add is it's all about attracting the attention and working the algorithms. I think people are thinking, I want to get more gigs. I'm going to go to the event planners. It's just such, as Phil mentioned, it's such a long road from the point where I'm looking for you. It's just the timing has to work out perfectly for you to reach out at the exact moment I don't have someone and I need someone. So where you're really going to make an impact, in my opinion, is just be busy and talk about every single thing that you're doing. So if you are, traveling, you're speaking, you fix this problem, you solve this. Ramon does an amazing job of this, where he's like taking video all the time on the road. He's posting on every platform, everywhere he goes. And it does a few things. One is it's in my face all the time in a great way, and I'll never forget him, but he's never telling me, Liz, if you need someone, call me. It's just there. And the other thing is it makes you want them even more. You're willing to pay. You understand they're busy. You think they're a professional. When you're ready to book, you're going to pay them and you're going to be willing to work with their schedule, and you already see them as a professional. And that's the best way the gigs can come in. You don't have to sell yourself. But if you are not busy, you're new to the industry, and then volunteer, offer your services, get on stages, whatever it takes, and talk about it every step of the way. People don't know whether you're being paid or not. They just know whether you're good at what you do. And so I would say get out there and work the algorithms to your advantage as much as possible. And talk about other things. Like, don't just MC all day, every day. Then you look too busy. Talk about places you go with your family, things that you're doing for fun, your favorite coffee. Just be out there in a way that keeps you friendly and connectable.
Be a human. Is that what you're saying, Liz?
Yeah, you know, those humans. We like to hire them.
I think because we're so trying to get booked, you know what I mean? But like you said, it's a relationship. It's a long game. There is no hurry up. I tell people all the time, it's taking me 10 years to become an overnight MC success. 10 years to become an overnight MC success, right? So it's about, really putting that work in. And as we're coming to a close, Phil, I'm going to start with you, then you, Colleen, and then Liz, for all the MCs who are starting out, or maybe they're established and they really want to grow. What is one powerful way they can boost their MC brand to really go forward and get the fee that they want or desire, within 2026? What's one thing they can do to really boost their MC brand?
There's two things you asked there. One is if they're getting started, and one is how do they boost their brand. Because the first thing that came to mind is be willing to do local stuff, the galas, the rotaries, the things that are around you that need MCs that are going to give you that track record. But then to expand your brand, it's everything we've talked about. Build your presence. Make sure when I find you that I know you're answering the questions that I'm wondering. Do you have the skill? Are you the right fit? What are other people saying about you, and how easy is it to connect with you? And if I can, I want to know how easy is it to work with you, but that's going to come from your referrals. So that's what I would say.
Love it. And I love the fact of starting local. People are just getting started and they want to fly to Paris. Like, can you MC the event in your backyard first, right? And you want first class. Like, don't be a diva about it, right? Like, come on, let's get this started. Colleen, emerging, established entrepreneurs, one tip of advice they can continue to grow and get noticed by people, planners like you. What can they do for 2025 or even 2026?
It's kind of piggybacking on what Liz mentioned, but kind of storytelling. So it's more just telling the story of your career, of the steps of what they're taking to get better, connections they might have. If they run in like Quinn, somebody that you're coaching, you guys have a conversation and then they post something. So it's really just expanding their network. So I would say intentional about expanding their network.
I love that. I love that. And Liz, coming to you as well. Final thought, how can MCs get more visible, boost their brand, do all the things to build their MC business, especially to attract people like you to hire them?
So again, I agree with everything Phil and Colleen say. But I started my business as an event planner on Twitter with like some Twitter followers. And what I take from that is I think to be vulnerable. Everyone, like you said, they want to be the diva. They want to fly to Paris. They want to be amazing. They want to do all the things. I feel like I'm getting some pop song in my head from that. But I think the point is it's okay to say, I'm looking for new leads. I'm doing this course because it's teaching me a skill that I'd really like to learn. I'm looking to connect more with this type of people in these type of industries. Show that you're learning by participating in the Emcee Summit. Don't just come here, but go post about all the things that you learned while you were here. I think those things, people love to root for people. And you don't have to be, it's almost like a turnoff if you already look like you're so fabulous and everyone needs you. It's like people sometimes are more attracted to people who are just starting out, who want to lead. And it's a great, for people, budgets are tight right now. Event planning is a interesting world right now. So people may already be ruling you out if they think you're too fabulous from your online presence. Be vulnerable. Say that you're looking for something. Give a little bit of that give. And I think you might find that it's a lot easier to connect with people.
I absolutely love it. Can we give Phil and Colleen and Liz just some virtual love in the comments? Kate is like, yes, I love it. Thank you so much for your awesome insight. We appreciate your perspective, because there's so many people in this space who are trying to figure it out. And I think what you said wasn't even anything brand new. It was a kick in the butt. It was confirmation for these lot of MCs like, you know what? Let me get these videos off my phone and onto LinkedIn. Let me go ahead and make sure, you know what I mean, that I'm a content creator as well, not just an MC, but I'm making myself visible. So again, I thank you so much for sharing your insight with us, and we appreciate all that you are bringing. Right now, I am going to go ahead and kick it over to Phil, who is going to incorporate a nice movement break. So Phil, the mic is yours.
I just want to add one more thing. This is a tip that whether you're a speaker, an MC, or whoever you are, you're not for everyone. and be okay with that. You're not for every event. Know who you are for. So if you're not a hype man, like Ramon can hype it up like a boxing match, but he also can be very professional. You need to know, I'm not a hype guy. Like, I can't do hype. I'm a jazz musician. I don't fit in very well with a hard rock band. Know who you are and who you're not for. All right, so I want to transition here. If you're an event planner, you know what it's like to run an event and you're running on fumes, you're running on coffee, and you're just worn out. But also MCs, you've stood on stage and you know when half the audience is starting to fall asleep. It's that 1:30 in the afternoon moment, and you're wondering, how do I get the energy flowing? And sometimes you don't have the tools in your toolkit. Well, that's where Megan Nolan is one of the people who can help with that. She's provided tools to help event planners, to help events energize the audience and get them off their butts and avoiding, I think she calls it butt numbness or something. She'll tell you the term, but go ahead, Megan, come on and give us a movement moment.
Aloha, everybody. So if you can hear me and see me, please give me a little sparkle wave. Love it. Okay, perfect. So you know that day 3 at about 3 o'clock when everybody looks like they're melting into the chairs. As Phil said, the most powerful and effective way to make sure that that doesn't happen is movement. So let's take a little movement break together. Feel free to leave your camera on or off, whatever you'd prefer. And let's go ahead and open up your body. And if you'd like, go ahead and stand up. Why not? It's been a minute, right? As Phil said, I talk about sleeping booty all the time. Let's wake up the sleeping booty. Okay, so go ahead and stand up. And now take a big deep breath in and exhale. Get a little taller. Or if it's better for you, stay seated. Yes, I love the arms. Let's go. So now breathe in, and I'm going to have you shake your hands like you just washed your hands. Shake your hands. That's it. Now, as you exhale, push into your feet, stand a little bit taller or sit a little taller. Love it. Here we go again. Shake, 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 shake. Now shake your tail feathers. Shake your tail feathers. I know you got them. Shake them. Yes. And now exhale. Settle, settle, settle. That was good. That was good. Last one. Let's do it. Shake, 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 shake your tail feathers. Shake your face. Why not? Why not? Do it, do it, do it. And now exhale. Settle. Stop. Breathe. Big deep breath. Let it out. Close your eyes. Big inhale. Exhale. Now use your body. Squeeze your legs. Squeeze your upper back. Open up your body. Feel in your body the most confident, powerful version of you. Because that's how we want to go back into the room, right? Use your body to engage that right here, right now. Take a big deep breath. Let's go. Exhale. Now own it. Ready? Beautiful. Do you feel a little bit more awake, a little more energized? If so, give me a sparkle wave. Yes. Okay. Love it. Thank you for your participation. Please go ahead and sit back down, but do so in that open, confident, ready posture. Love that. You all look great. Thank you so much for taking the power pause with me.
For you. Whoops. Megan, thank you so much. I have a couple questions for you. So some of us are event organizers and we think, man, the audience isn't going to really like that. That's kind of woo-woo. Why are these so important? What happens for an audience that is important and maybe we need to educate them on?
Sure. Great question. Thank you. So sitting is actually really stressful for the body. And when we are experiencing stress, brain activity shifts. And when we are experiencing stress in our body and in our brain, the part of our brain that we really want to have online when we're learning, when we're problem solving, when we're innovating is simply not active because the brain is experiencing stress. It's in threat detection mode. So if we are not giving our attendees the tools that they need to stay grounded and open and ready and primed for connection and learning, then we're missing the mark and we are not planning from a human first perspective. So that's just one of the reasons why it's so valuable. And in fact, it's actually not woo-woo. It's completely based in science and it's a performance strategy because the people in the room, they're humans. They're not rocks, right? Why do we put people in chairs and expect that they're going to do amazing things? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another one is in the science of you're getting oxygen up to our brains when it's been sitting in our duffs. And so I think that's an amazing thing. Megan, people can get a gift from you, it looks like, gift from Megan. And like all of us have been saying, you're on LinkedIn. So make sure everybody that you follow Megan, the amazing things she does. She's talking about this a lot. So thanks for being part of the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to be here.
All right, everybody give some praise, some claps to Megan. And we're going to move to our next moment. And this is going to be fun because now we're moving to, you guys have probably seen Kate and how active she has been in her camera today. So I want to introduce Kate Garnes. She spent 10 years at Disney. She was actually inside the costume of Mickey. So she literally knows how to bring joy to a crowd. She is a powerhouse speaker, singer, performer. She can help audiences overcome their self-doubt. And here's what I know. Within 30 seconds of meeting her, you already feel like she's your best friend. So, Kate, welcome. And then I'm going to introduce Rich.
What's up, everybody? I am so excited, first of all, to come after Quinn and Ramon and literally everybody. I sat here for a minute and was like, oh, no, I have to talk and I have to follow that. But I am just so incredibly proud to be in this arena with all of these Titans and everybody. I mean, I've been following the chat and oh my gosh, like I'm just so excited for the future of emceeing, for what's been going on in emceeing. Let's freaking go, man. I'm so pumped. I'm so excited.
All right. And then next up, we've got Rich Bracken. And I met Rich at an MPI event. If you don't know what that is, it's Meeting Planners International. And I saw Rich doing something that I know Kate can do too. He merged the skills of being a DJ with being an MC, and he knows how to read a room, but he's also a keynote speaker, and he knows how to do what we're going to talk about in this conversation, and that is break the fourth wall. So Rich, welcome to the show, and thanks for being here.
Phil, thank you for having me. And I will say that great pairing that you have Mickey and Goofy together. So that works out perfectly. But yeah, as a former event planner turned keynote speaker, MC, and DJ, I'm kind of a 3-in-1 Swiss Army knife for entertainment and events. But yeah, I've been blending DJing with both my keynotes, with my MCing. And then also I've got clients that bring me on to be a DJ for their after party, which is his own story. So we have a great time throughout the entire event, and I'm excited to talk about this topic and blessed to be sitting next window and energy-wise with Kate.
I am also a DJ, Rich, so I'm excited to also pick your brain about things.
I think we need to have an MC Palooza where we just bring DJs and MCs together and just have a big party. I think it's the best idea I've had in years.
So I think that you're bringing a great point to the table, and that is being able to bring different skills that you have. But one thing that I know about DJs who are good at their craft, and I know there's different kinds of DJs, but the DJs I like to work with know how to read a room. So as an MC, when you're walking into a room, let's start with you, Rich. What are you doing? What cues are you looking for in knowing how to read the room?
I absolutely, well, number one, as a highly sensitive person, I can pick up the energy in any room, any person, anything, anytime, anywhere. So that is a gift of mine. I also think it's just, you need to be attuned to the room. You need to be paying attention to what's going on. Anybody who ducks back into the green room, waiting for them to walk them to the stage, is missing the opportunity of a lifetime to connect with the crowd. So be in the back of the room, be in the side of the room, grab coffee in the coffee hall, mingle about, get a vibe for what's going on. Listen to some of the conversations that are going on. Anything you can do to immerse yourself a little bit anonymously, but, you know, talk to people, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Rich Bracken. I'm the MC for your event today. Good to meet you. You know, do you mind if I kind of get you some coffee or get you a Diet Coke? Whenever you do that too, you also get the affinity of the crowd behind you, even though they may not have known you up until that point. So it's a great way to connect with the audience, but just pay attention to the crowd. What's working? What's resonating with them? Ask questions. How are people doing? What can you do to lift their day?
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. Kate, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he said exactly what I was gonna say. Another secret that I have found is so I prefer a handheld microphone, partly because I am, you know, Phil, you were talking about, like, I am not a hype person. Like, I feel like I could try to be chill and people would be like, Kate, you're doing a lot. Like, if I even like tried to just chill out. So I prefer a handheld mic. And so I take the mic with me when I'm doing exactly what Rich said, walking around, meeting people, getting a feel of the vibe. and how where people are at. Also kind of knowing what kind of conference you're at. I am also a keynote speaker, but when I keynote speak, I'm speaking for youth. I'm speaking for mostly youth leadership. And so I know if I'm at a youth leadership conference, these kids are just ready to party. They're ready to just celebrate. Whereas if I'm emceeing a dentist's conference, it's going to be a little bit of a different feel, right? So, and if I know that I'm starting emceeing at 8:30 in the morning, people probably don't want me to show up being like, let's freaking go. Like you have to know, it's exactly what Rich was saying, reading the feeling of the room, where people are at. But one secret that I know Devon Brown, who taught me, was carry that microphone with you, because it automatically gives you not authority, but it's like, like they're a part of this, something like that. Saying you're an MC, that is just something. Plus, then let's say Rich was sitting in the audience, him and I strike up a conversation. He is now my best friend. So then when I'm on the stage, I may say something like, right, Rich, you get me right? Something like that, to make it more of a conversation. My goal as an MC is that everyone feels safe on my dance floor, whether my dance floor is DJing an after party, whether my dance floor is a conference of 8,000 school teachers or dentists or veterinarians. I want people to feel comfortable to be who they are and express who they are. So making those connections, Rich is 100% right. Making those connections, meeting people, making people feel safe, so that when you're on the stage and you ask them to clap their hands, you ask them to do a call and response, you're asking for, man, Phil just did that incredible keynote. What was your I know my biggest takeaway was this. What was your biggest takeaway? When you know that you've got 10 minutes to fill, you know who you can go to in the crowd that's going to respond.
All right. So you've already kind of anticipated my next question by demonstrating how you do this, but there's this principle in theater called the fourth wall. And Rich, you broke the fourth wall in a video that I saw of you, but the fourth wall is the edge of the stage. So if you're an actor, the acting is all contained within the three walls of the stage, and you're doing it for the audience. But as an MC, describe what that means to you. There's this fourth wall. How do you break that, and why is that important, and what are some of the ways that you do it?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Quinn said earlier, this is not your performance. What you need to do is make sure that you're entertaining people, and anybody that gets up there to perform, to put on a show as if it is a TV show or a really good Netflix documentary come live, you're missing the point. So by engaging the audience, by asking questions, Kate, I love what you said too. I think one of the key question I asked a client one time is, give me 2 celebrities in your company. Who are the 2 most energetic people that you have? I need to know their names, and I need you to point them out when they walk in the room. So when you're engaging people, you can go to them to warm the room up. So if it's a room, and I also agree with Patty, I need to introduce you to some more crazy dentists, Kate, because I know a few.
Let's go. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm down for it. The laughing gas is a fun after party. But when we have those opportunities to just engage people, to talk with the audience, to ask questions back and forth, even if you're not comfortable doing that, use something like Mentimeter to do a fun poll in the middle of it. So you're getting people engaged. So some people are not confident with that ability to say, hey, Phil, I would love to hear what your favorite song is, or Kate, what is your favorite, what is your favorite 80s movie? They're not, you're like, oh my God, this guy's talking to me. Do a poll on the screen. That'll get people warmed up. So to your point, Kate, too, like, don't come out firing at 8:30 in the morning, especially if they're still sipping their coffee. They don't need you at an 11, shout out Spinal Tap. But they need you to gradually bring it up. But the instance I think that you're talking about, Phil, is that I had also, I think Quinn too, go shout out again to Quinn. If you're an MC, go take an improv class, full stop. If you make one more investment in your life as an MC, go take an improv class. And I'll tell you why. The ability to say yes and to pivot off of a moment, to seize that energy when it happens is critical. And where it came into play for me was that I was giving my DJ keynote. I had an individual shout out, like I play songs that tie to emotional intelligence, and I get people singing and dancing, and I'm walking away. And, Kate, you probably can assimilate with this. Like, DJs hate taking requests. We just do. I don't care. Client service, guest service, we hate it. But there was a woman that shouted out from the audience, "Play YMCA." And I'm like, oh God, I hate that song. Internally, I'm in like, it's a request and it's that request. And oh God, here we go. But I wound up playing it and I had 2,000 people get up and do the YMCA together. And it wasn't just the fact that they did it, but it was the fact that that woman afterwards, after it was all said and done, and the place is screaming and cheering and having a great time, she shouted out, "Thank you so much." And that to me is where you bring people in. That fourth wall is not just for you to go to the audience, it's for you to bring them to you as well. It's that connection, that bond, that energy that you got to have.
Yeah.
So Kate, you were Mickey.
I was.
So there was a fourth wall there. Is there anything we can learn about how you interacted with audiences and that role?
So a couple things. And this kind of goes a little bit back to what Rich was saying about getting to know your audience before, getting a finger on the pulse of your audience. If you can't tell, I'm very animated. I use my hands a lot. I'm also a physical touch person. So a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody, I might put my hand on their shoulder. This is one thing I learned from Disney, is to be very aware of the other person's body language. Some people don't like to be touched. Some people don't like to be touched. Some people don't like to be talked to. It's exactly what Rich was saying when he was like, they're going to ask me a question. Oh God, don't ask me a question. And it's hilarious because I present as a huge extrovert. I'm actually extremely introverted, but I'm really good at faking it. So one thing I learned from Disney and performing is to pay attention to the other person's body language. If somebody is not responding, is kind of shying away, you don't need to like make it your mission to make them your best friend. It's okay to move on. It's okay to, because someone will. You will find a Kate Garnes in that audience who will look at you and be like, let's be best friends. Tell me your life story. Tell me all your deepest secrets. Like, you will find that. You just have to find that person. And Phil, oh my gosh, I love how you said this. You said, we as MCs, we're not for everyone. I know that if you are wanting someone who is super, super polished, super, super professional, leading and speaking very, very professionally, I'm probably not your girl. And if you like were hell-bent on having me come in, I would do my absolute best. But if you want somebody who is uplifting and engaging and happy and big, that's what I'm more for. So, and I know Jimmy is coming on later, and he is one of my favorite MCs, but him and I are polar opposites. He is very cool, calm, collected, and like I am like, I just want you to like me. Like let's just be best friends. So that was so huge, and I hope that all of you listening and watching, I hope that you caught that, because I know as a keynote speaker and as a DJ, weirdly enough, I actually just DJ'd for Ludacris. It was for a party that he was throwing. Like, it's wild, right? And I thought, I'm not going to be a good fit for this. Turns out I was. But we as speakers and MCs, we love being on stage. We love sharing our stories. We love making people feel welcome and warm and included. But we may not be for everybody. And if an event says, no, you're not what we're looking for, that's okay. That just means that it's putting you one step closer to the one that is. So I don't know if I answered your question, Phil.
No,
if I could double down on something that Kate just said too, for those of you that are trying to build your business as an MC, that key factor of resilience of saying, I didn't get this, the mindset shift that I had when I started building my business was, okay, if not that one, what's available? What's coming next? What is this no making room for me to say yes to, or for them to say yes to me? Because I have lost plenty of deals. I've lost plenty of contracts. And if I just wallowed in that, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Yeah. I'm like, okay, great. Not my thing. Probably would have been a not fun event. It's definitely going to be a not fun event since I'm not there. Let's move on to the next thing. But also I have to give a shout out, Kate. I think the rule of thumb of mascots, because I used to work in sports marketing, is that you actually can't talk. So you don't, I don't know you don't necessarily know the Mickey voice, but I do want to give a shout out that you just killed the Kristen Wiig Target lady voice. That was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Where are these?
Nailed it. Crushed it.
I want to add something else to what you're saying there, Rich, is be willing to say this gig is not for me.
Yes.
And say, I'm not your guy, but you need Kate, or you need Rich, or you need Ramon. that's going to earn respect in the eyes of the planner, and they're going to remember you later if they say, well, who are you for?
Yeah.
And then they're going to remember that. So
Can I add one thing in?
Yeah, go for it.
So I recently worked with Devon Brown and went through his coaching program. It was awesome. And I struggled a little bit with, because I am 5'1", I'm a tiny human. And much like Quinn, I don't wear heels. My feet, I had club feet when I was born. So my feet physically don't go into heels. And I was so subconscious at first because I was like, oh man, you know, when I speak as a keynote, I wear these crazy blinged out Nike Air Jordans. Like they are totally blinged out. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to need to dress super professional and it's just, and Quinn, and somebody was like, no, you need to go follow Quinn. And so I did. And she showed me just by all of the videos. If you haven't gone to Quinn's Instagram or LinkedIn, go post haste, my friends. She showed me that I could wear my crazy sneaks. Now my branding is I wear like rock and roll or music t-shirts under a power blazer with my crazy light up blinged out shoes. And that's my brand. And it's something where I am authentically myself. So I wanted to make sure I hit on that in case any of you are thinking, oh man, to be an MC, I have to be dressed the most professional and I have to do all these things. No, you need to be true to who you are. Because if I tried to be rich, even though we're both DJs, we're both MCs, we're both speakers, I would fail so hard because I'm not rich. I'm Kate. And I'm so proud to be Kate. So please lean into who you are and what your branding is.
We both don't wear heels. Love it.
Rich, if you did, that would make you.
I did once. That's for another webinar. We'll talk about it another time. Halloween is an excuse.
Rich, what is one question that you've found to be one of the most important things that you can find out about event, whether it's Hyatt, ESPN, MPI, whatever it is? What's a question that you ask that is very telling for how you need to show up for that event?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great question. And I think when I hear that question, my first inclination is to put on my event planner hat, because I was that person that was being asked that question at one time, or not being asked that question, which is even worse. So as an MC or a keynote speaker or a DJ or all three, the first thing I ask is, what vibe do you want? What does success look like to you? If you, at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, our job is to make the event planner look like an absolute genius rock star wearing blinged out Air Jordans for picking us for that event. Because at some point, the event's going to be done. They're going to do a postmortem. They're going to get the feedback. And if everybody comes back and says, wow, you picked Kate and she slayed it. Great job. So if you talk with your event planner ahead of time, and even in a pre-sale call, like if you get a chance to have a pre-sale call, what worked last year, what didn't work last year, and what do you want to have happen this year that when you walk into that postmortem event, I've helped make you look like an absolute star. What can I do to support you there? Because at the end of the day, no matter what role you play in an event as an MC, keynote, or a DJ or whatever, your job is to serve the client. I do not care about your ego. I do not care about your logos. I do not care about anything else. I need to see you show up, and this is my event planner voice, show up to take care of the audience. Show up to make the success of the event your number one priority, not your ego stroke. If you come with ego, you better plan on another career at some point soon, because it's going to end real quickly.
You're reminding me that AV companies do their best when no one notices them. And
100%.
I think an MC is a lot like that. I mean, it's good if someone says you slayed it by picking Kate, but if Kate's all they talk about and they actually don't talk about the speakers and the event, then Kate has gone too far.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, I think there's that happy medium of like the event was a success. We were, I had a client that had never hired an outside MC before. And the first thing they said at the end of day one is, we're going to sign you to a 5-year contract because we don't know how we did this without an MC before.
Wow.
So to your point, I don't want to take away from the speakers. I don't want to take away from the content. That's not my job as an MC either. It's not my show. My show is to be, I heard like mortar and glue and all the things that bind the event together. That's my job.
Yes.
If it flows and if there's no hiccups, that's the signal that I've done my job. And I also want to touch on one thing that just because you brought it up, Phil, as an MC, as a speaker, go make friends with the AV team before the event starts.
yes.
Pretty please,
Yes.
number
Yes.
one, full stop. Those are going to be your best friends or your worst enemies, and they will get you out of any bind, but they will work behind the scenes to make you look good so you can make the client look good. I've seen AV teams turn on speakers, not maliciously, but like they could have done something to prevent something, or they could have done something to help out. And they didn't do it because the speaker was a diva, the MC was a jerk, whatever it was. Make friends with the AV team. Thank them for everything that they do, and then thank them at the end of the event for all of their help.
Agreed,
Awesome.
100%.
Kate, last word.
Well, first of all, Rich, it's an honor to be in this industry with you. I can't wait to learn even more from you. I'm literally sitting here taking notes on what he's saying. It's so good. Yeah, this, and I'll say this, as a speaker and as an MC, this profession can be lonely. This profession can feel really lonely because a lot of times when we are on the road, we're not, if I'm a keynote speaker somewhere, I'm not seeing the other keynotes because I'm in and out, or if I'm an MC, it can be lonely. So a big, find your people. And I don't mean find your people that are going to just like rah you all the time. I mean the people that where I could go to Quinn or Alex. Alex has become one of my new best friends. We're in a lot of circles together, and just say, man, this is kind of hard. Like I'm like, I just feel I'm struggling with this. Have the people that you can go to who I'm a big believer in. Ask anybody as many questions as you can. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel has been invented. Ask questions. Go to people who are on stages you want to be on, who are doing the things you want to do. I know I'm going to go and pick Rich's brain all over the place about how to, if you travel as a DJ, like, because I do a lot of DJing MC events here in Georgia. I'm based out of Atlanta, here in Georgia, but I haven't traveled to DJ yet. And so I'm going to immediately go to Rich on LinkedIn and be like, can we schedule a call? I'd love to learn from you on how to travel as a DJ. So just find your people and know that this can be a lonely profession. This can be a daunting profession. And I think one thing a question I had for Quinn, I know Quinn's going to come back. You know, you said earlier that there's enough work for all of us. And I want you to say that again, because it can feel like, well, I don't want to steal work from somebody else. I don't want to, like, I want you to hit on that one more time. And I'm now going to pass it back to Rich.
Yeah,
Rich,
I couldn't agree with that more. For those of you that are struggling to build your business and getting the no's and getting the declines and things like that, do not think that your business needs to be built on the back of Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. I got paid my highest fee by an organization that I had no idea existed. So do not think for 1 second that you've got to go get the sexy logos on your website. Yes, they help. I'm not going to say don't go for them. Right. But do not think for 1 second. My first standing ovation came from an agricultural and construction sales organization. I'm about as metrosexual as they come. And I walked into a room full of tatted up, dip in the lip, tattooed, bearded dudes to talk about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
In Hayes, Kansas. Phil, I know where you know where that is.
I know Hayes, Kansas.
Yeah. Like, I had no business there. So I'm telling you right now, do not think that there is not enough business to go out there. There are, I think the number that I actually looked up, I think there's around $2.2 billion spent on events for entertainment. There's plenty of money. Now, I don't know what your travel budget is, or your clothes budget is, but 2.2 billion is enough to go around for all of us and then some. So we're going to be just fine. Keep your head up, keep going, keep believing in yourself. That no is actually a future yes. Like, keep doing the right things.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. This has been amazing. Everyone give them some love through loves. They're happy. And Rich, I want you to go ahead and make an introduction to our next speaker, John Chen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely my pleasure to talk and introduce the man that has influenced my already fantastic jacket collection to be even better. This is Chen. He is the author of the #1 Amazon hot new book release, Engaging Virtual Meetings. He has been meeting virtually for over 38 years and has produced over 4,000 virtual meetings, including an 8-language meeting, and the only 100% live virtual conference in the training industry. I didn't even know there were more than 8 languages, frankly. He's one of only 400 certified speaking professionals designated by the National Speakers Association. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up in the chat. Your emojis, your responses, your physical response. Let's welcome your speaker, my new jacket role model, Chen.
Thank you, Rich. You gotta move it up. Rich, I gotta ask this quick question. Right? Clothes is an important. Your look is an important part of the MC. Rich, what is something that's like signature that you love that you found that's you?
So 2 things. Well, 3 things: jackets, pocket squares, and my hair. I'll be honest. And Phil, I'm sorry to call this out as a defining brand differentiator. I've had 7 compliments on my hair in the last 2 weeks at events. So my hairdresser got an extra tip for the holidays. But I think when you have that, and Kate, you talked about your shoes, find something that makes you feel good. Find something that makes you confident and comfortable. My jacket collection, I've got to find something to wear with a black satin jacket because I just found one at Men's Warehouse for $20. It got bought. Now I got to figure out where it goes. But I think the jacket game is the #1 thing that I go to.
All right, well, we got to bring the alliteration amazing queen coming up here. It's not a Quinn, it's going to be the queen. Rich, can you put together an alliteration to bring back Quinn Conyers here? Let's see what you can do on the improv side.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no proper explanation for how phenomenal this next speaker is. The energy, the style, the glamour, the gravitas, the implosion to explosion of love. I can't say enough about our next speaker, the one, the only, Quinn Conyers.
Oh yeah! Quinn, everybody! Everyone chat, Quinn, Rich, and John for crying out loud.
Well, I'm about to put these dual locks to the other side. The way that Rich kind of had me excited over here. I said, wait a minute. I love a good introduction. And thank you so much, Rich. I know we've been connected through LinkedIn for a while now. John and I are in the same spaces, and I just enjoyed the session and really excited about this next session that we have coming up. And, virtual events are a thing, right? And I think that when the pandemic happened, it really turned up the volume on how much we need to pay attention to virtual events. But even so, why virtual events need an MC? And I know, John, that this is your space, this is your place. Why did you decide to really go all in as an MC, but also emceeing virtual events? Because I'm a live girl. I can do virtual, right? But give me the people. I need the energy. I need to see Martin. I want to give Sherry a hug. I want to give Karen a handshake. I want to do all the things. But you have really made a niche within a niche within a niche. Why virtual events? Why emceeing?
Well, one thing around here, Quinn, right? I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to get rid of boring meetings in the world, and virtual and hybrids are sometimes the worst of the y'all, right? How many of you have been on a bad virtual or hybrid meeting? Raise your hand in the audience. Like almost everybody. Martin's thinking about it. Martin's still thinking about it. He's thinking, he's meditating. Okay. So, that's the reason why I think that I went to the virtual space. Quinn, you both and I are in National Speakers Associations, and we're kind of the new kids on the block, and we're never going to compete with the Cavits and the Hall of Famers because we're the new, maybe in one place. But I came to virtual too. The other place is that there was nobody here or very few people. And so it is such a place to shine. And I just said, I think I might be better here than actually in the real world. So I really learned to perfect a lot of the things that you're seeing here. Things like I can now, let's see if I can get it right. Oh yeah, I can do mic drops now. All right, I can give people like Rich and I'll applaud that. By the way, I just do want to give a shout out. Rich did that intro to you, Quinn, on improv. We did not plan that out. He just pulled that out of his improv hat. And when you come and you pull that out of your improv hat, that's what you pay an MC for, is when they get put on the spot. There's something weird, something has to happen. You need to elevate somebody. You get an MC like Rich because he did it. He did it better than I did. All I can tell you is that it's so supreme. So supreme. And that was really, I saw Rich's inside MC brain working there. Like, how can I bring all these things that I know about Quinn together in like 42 seconds? Amazing.
No, I love that. And that is the power. I mean, your intros are amplified when it comes to virtual. So let's talk about the business of this, because people are here, and correct me if I'm wrong, the majority of the MCs, we want to get some information on how to be better on stage. But the reason why we're trying to get paid. We're trying to make sure we make money doing this. Now, is it a difference between hosting virtual meetings? Is that the same money if I host a in-person meeting? Like, what's the difference if I'm an MC who wants to maybe add virtual meetings as a offer? Like, how can I potentially look at pricing that out? Is that the same? Is it different? How do you do it?
Yeah, thanks. I was a team builder beforehand, Quinn, and I used to use geocaching or a high-tech scavenger hunt. It was all face-to-face business. And again, COVID just destroyed it, right? Just absolutely obliterated it. And so I started doing virtual. And one thing I found out is that the business model is actually better for virtual because I don't waste a day on the front and the end traveling. I can actually MC sometimes 2 events in a day. I've actually keynoted in 5 countries in one day. So I think that the business model is better. And by being unique in terms of virtual and hybrid, as a hybrid MC, I can actually sometimes stay here. I don't have to be on site. In fact, sometimes it's better when I'm not on site because I'm actually a redundant piece. One time we lost connection to Atlanta, who was running the hybrid, and I came in as the virtual MC, and because I wasn't there, I still had a connection. And Quinn, we talked about what can MCs do. We lost audio for the keynote. Right. And when you lose audio, it's crushing. And so to the virtual audience, I said, hey, all right, before they all chatted, no audio, I came in and said, look, we lost audio. And I texted the tech crew, the AV crew that was in Atlanta. I said, we lost audio. Here was their reply, Quinn. It's going to be a while. Right? And I'm like, jump into MC mode. I did. It was literally a split second. I unmuted and I'm like, I started presenting this person's slide deck sight unseen. This is like massive improv. This is what I call PowerPoint karaoke. And luckily, I knew the material well enough. I nailed this slide deck for 32 minutes, Quinn.
Wow.
But that's how you take a mistake and you turn it into the moment. It was everyone in the conference was talking about it. Man, did you see what Chen did when that all the tech failed? And they still got the value because they asked questions to the speaker afterwards, and then they hit the chat afterwards and they're like, oh my gosh, John, you nailed it, 100%. Wow, mind blowing.
Yeah, no, that's a little gutsy. I don't know if I would have done that, but that's the power of improv. I don't know what I would have done. I've done a lot of different things, but I don't know if I would feel confident, let's say, presenting Cricket's information off the cuff. I think I would have probably went a different direction, but that's the power of being a great MC, especially virtually. So I know we talk a lot about, finding opportunities, but if someone is interested in adding virtual MCing, to their speaking service offerings, how do they promote that? Is it the same way they would promote in person? Give us a little bit of insight on how people can potentially position themselves for virtual MC opportunities.
Yeah. So Quinn, just like I think earlier on, people like Ramon or others were saying, go to your nonprofits or your charities or whatever, and if you want to get some reps, right? Like a speaker, as an MC, you got to get repetitions. There's no way that I could ever predict in my lifetime we would lose audio for 32 minutes, right? You gotta experience these things. And so again, Quinn and I are both members of the National Speakers Association, but whatever we are a member of, volunteer to host and be the virtual MC to these many virtual meetings that are having, and you'll learn a lot about creating energy or the technical aspects of playing music or whatever it is that keeps the audience engaged through the whole part. And that's when you can start then doing the part which Quinn loves, which is ask for money. And I'm going to go back onto your, what do you call it, Quinn? What is it, the repeat money? What do you call that?
Oh, repeat revenue.
Oh, repeat revenue. Of course, it's an alliteration. I should. Okay, so the repeat revenue comes in the virtual too, because the virtual, I help build community too. I'm not just emceeing. I'm not just reading cue cards. I am helping to build a community. Many of our communities actually have names. Karen Schlomer's here with me. She has seen this and done it herself now, where we build communities. And when you build a community, your client sees what value you have and then brings you back because they can't live without you.
Yeah, and I love that. And then I'll be crystal clear. Like, I'm really a advocate for the talent of it, but what I see most MCs struggling with is the money portion. Like, they have the talent, they have the experience, they're ready to charge, but they don't know how to quite turn it over. So that's why I put a lot of attention to it, because again, unlike a keynote speaker, that speaker might be there for 60 minutes. You might put in 60 hours, right? And you're still getting paid less than them. So my job and my duty is just to make sure that we are compensated and we are getting, we're earning an income off of our intellectual property, right? And
Yes.
a lot of times we don't know what to charge, we undercharge, or we stay at the infancy level and we're really ready to graduate. Like, we're ready to add a zero, right? And we're not.
Yeah.
That's why I put so much energy and emphasis into that. So
Can I add
the
to
money
that,
part.
Quinn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to do that, one of the best things that I do too is ask for last year's conference video, right? And often you'll see disasters, right? Blank spots, weird things, technical problems, and audiences chatting 100 times going, you're on mute, right? And so I think if you see those things, what happens is all of those things that are happening is actually damaging that association's or company's brand. Right? I've seen it too. Actually, a large car manufacturer held this online, supposed to be exclusive meeting, and they didn't allow chat. They didn't allow us to unmute, and there was a bunch of production problems, right? And so there was no virtual MC to really kind of guide us through this process. So I'm just even saying, it doesn't matter how much money you have either, is that many people are still not emceeing and producing virtual and hybrid meetings correctly. So that's how I present value, is saying, look at what you did here, think about what your customers thought, and now watch what happens when you put me in here. And again, you can also go back to the bottom line too, Quinn, about the other things. How many more people buy into the virtual? Or better yet, you'll love this one, Quinn. Virtual is the gateway drug to in-person. So if it's a hybrid, if your virtual is good, they will cross over and pay money for the in-person.
I love that. And let's stay there, because you said a couple different things. And I'm going to loop in Kristen Brown's question, which is so great and timely. Virtual MC and virtual producer, that's what you're giving me. It's not just an MC, because there's a lot of tech. There's a lot of like just emojis that you have. There are just certain GIFs. I don't know if that's what they're called, which is, in my opinion, a different level of engagement. So what types of, tech or tools, lighting, equipment do you need to pull off an amazing virtual experience from the MC and production side?
Well, I'm going to show you this, but not show anybody to think that they should ever build this, right? This is actually what's happening this is
John,
live.
we can, what?
What's up, right?
Yeah.
So this is what's happening on my side. And I show this not for you to build this. I show you this to inspire you to maybe get one thing. And I'll chat a list of the equipment that I do use. But the second part around it is that for MCs too, great MCs, I call it tech and tech. One is technology. Okay, so that's one of my superpowers. But the other one is technique, which is you don't need any of this stuff to bring some of the great stuff to be a great MC. As long as you have the basics done, right? Your camera, your mic, your internet, and things like that, you can be a great MC with who you are. That's the start. And then if you want to add tech, you should have done that. Martin, you shouldn't have shown us that, John. That is the greatest chat of all time. Here's my list of equipment, though. Things like Stream Decks and OBS and iPads and mixing boards. I mean, I've experimented, and just like you, Quinn, right? I'm actually a 38-year failure overnight success of becoming a virtual producer, and I have I've probably failed faster than anybody else during the pandemic, and that's what's allowed me to get to this ridiculous state.
No, I love it. But you know what? It's also showing that you are serious about your craft. You're investing. And I feel like I do talk about the money a lot, but a lot of us, we want to make 5,000, 50,000, but we have a $5 investor mentality, right? I can tell. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snatch nobody's edges. I didn't mean to do whatever, but that's what it takes. If you want to be the best of the best, you can't go in here like, I want to be the best, but you're willing to spend the least. And even though I was intimidated, I lost consciousness and I came back, I was impressed because I'm like, John's serious about his craft. That's what I see. I see a man who's serious. I see a man who's dedicated. He's going to invest in the equipment. And a lot of times, because speaking or hosting may look easy, we don't realize that John's put in 38 years. Quinn's put in 20. Rich has 15, right? So the easier it looks, the harder we worked at it. When our transitions hit, when our jokes land, you know what I mean? When the tech goes up and we got to back up, that's because the tech went out 1 year or 2 years ago and we had no backup. So we were like, that's not happening again, right? So what would you say to that person who was like, yes, I'm interested in emceeing, but John's got my wheels turning. Like, what if they're interested in going into virtual events as well? What's your insight to them?
To go into virtual events. You know, I think there's two routes. I mean, two routes is learn the school hard knocks, which is why we said do reps, right? But both Quinn and I have our own master classes. I have certified. So Karen Schlomer is here. She's one of my 16 engaging virtual meetings certified producers. It is a 20-hour class. You learn every feature of Zoom, but more importantly, how do you actually put them together? Right? It's a system, Quinn. All the technology is useless unless you figure out, I need to pick the right thing at the right time for the right moment for the right client. And that's what we do as producers. And what's really cool is the class is at the end of it, you have to produce somebody else for 5 minutes, and then you have to present for 5 minutes. And you have to, that assignment is so high emotional because all the things I told you, let's like spotlight, you've seen, we're doing a lot of spotlighting. We're doing a lot of these other skills. We're doing a lot of chatting, and they sound really easy until you try and do them in real time. Myself, Quinn, have gotten on big programs, and I've gotten there and my hand is shaking so much that I can't mouse. I accidentally once hosted the CEO of a company and I had to private chat her and tell her, could you host me back, right? And luckily nobody knew, but I'm just saying that nothing replaces the reps, and there's two ways to do it, right? Which is take the long route or take the short route. We compress 20 years of information into 20 hours.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love that. And I know that you are a man who absolutely loves what you do. It shows. I've been in community with you. I've seen you on stage. I've seen how you show up here, as well. And, what I really would love to do is I want to talk to you really quickly, or I want to bring back Phil because he is going to do a spotlight as well as has some exciting announcement for a giveaway. So let's go ahead and welcome Phil back to the conversation.
Well, Phil, I'm going to help you out too as your producer. I think your camera zoomed in, so I think you might want to touch that up before I bring you in. And then we're actually going to give away some stuff. Quinn, you asked about how do virtual audiences engage their audiences. One is like bring people in, like Kristen Brown. I'm going to spotlight you for 20 seconds, right? Okay, Kristen Brown, say hi. Thank you for the question. We appreciate you. And of course, then bring in people like Phil. Hi, Kristen. Good to see you.
You too.
Okay.
So,
okay, Phil.
Yeah, so one of the things that you have to be ready for as an MC is what do you do when the tech's not working? I actually did that with my camera on purpose, maybe. No, so one of the things you can do is you can actually do something engaging and fun, like having a drawing. So John and I are willing to give away copies of our book. Mine's called Unforgettable. You can see a copy of John's on his screen. We're going to do a drawing. Anyone who has been active today in the chat, you have a chance to win one of our books. So we can do this twice, John. One for yours, one for mine.
Let's try and do this twice. And by the way, if we draw a speaker, then we'll pick somebody else. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can do this.
Everybody do a little movement while we do it. Here we go.
Josh?
Here we go. Here we go.
Is it Kelly?
Oh, it was Kate, but
it's Kate.
You can get one anyway. So another try.
Is it Alex?
Here we go. Here we go.
It's Liz Caruso.
All right, we are just like doing all the speakers here. Maybe let's just do one person. We'll both send them a book. What are the odds here? What are the odds?
Here, I'll spin one in the background, and I'll get us.
All right, that sounds great.
That was hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. We will pick somebody, and then we'll ask for your mailing address. So, you get.
I got it ready. Naomi.
All right, Naomi is the winner. Give her a round of applause. Naomi, if you'll drop your address in the chat, if you're here. If you're not here, we'll reach out to you privately. She's here. All right. Awesome. So next up, we have a very exciting session. And Kate's going to come on and introduce one of the speakers, and that speaker is going to introduce the other one. You guys are going to love this final session of the event. And by the way, it actually does not end at 4 o'clock Eastern because we have a surprise special guest that we've been able to add at the end, and you're going to be excited to hear from this person. I'm not giving any more clues, although their name has been mentioned today. So we'll go with that. Kate, go ahead and introduce one of our next speakers.
So who here wants to not just be a good MC or a great MC, but an exceptional MC? Put me in the chat if that's you. I'm seeing it. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Well, then, my friends, lean in because this is exactly who you want to hear from in this next session. Jimmy Nelson is a seasoned MC and performer with over 17 years of experience. He has introduced and shared the stage with legends like Magic Johnson, Tony Robbins, Brendan Bouchard, and Shaquille O'Neal, who is not in the Short Persons Club. Not to mention, he has helped huge global brands such as Disney create unforgettable and high-impact events. Now, what I personally love most about Jimmy is that it doesn't matter if it's a small workshop or if it is a 25,000 attendee conference. Jimmy gives beyond 100% and makes every single attendee feel seen and safe. Not to mention, he has the suits and swagger of Frank Sinatra with the drive and dreams of Walt Disney. Please, everyone, throw your hands up, make some virtual noise for Jimmy's. Put Jimmy in the chat if you are ready to hear from my friend and one of the best MCs I know, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jimmy Nelson. Give it up, everybody.
Oh my good gracious, Kate. Can you just walk around with me like during the day and somebody like, instead of just introducing myself, I'm like, she's got it covered. She's got it covered. Like, just listen to her. Oh my
I hope I made you proud, my friend. I hope I made you proud.
So happy. I had the privilege of coaching Kate and I don't know how many of us there were in Atlanta. What was that? A couple months ago now, 3 months ago now. Time flies.
A few months ago.
Literally talking about what we're going to talk about today. And so thank you. Well done. Well done, my friend. She sent me a message. She's like, what's your bio? And I'm like, here. I was like, you don't have to say all this because I think we as MCs, the thing I hate the most is when you ask somebody for their bio and they're like, okay, here's my one-act play and I need you to read all of this. So perfect highlight. So before I get started, I'm very happy that I get to bring on my co-host and a dear friend of mine. And we haven't worked together in a while. We've known each other now 5 years, 6 years. When she said I've been doing this 17 years, I felt old, Renee. So I have been doing this a while. Hopefully the good lighting takes out any of this. But Renee and I met in a workshop, just like you guys are like here, in a Zoom meeting like this when she was an attendee. And little did I know, not only would she become one of my dearest friends, but we would get to share stages together. We have taught workshops together to teach speakers. We both have had the privilege of both emceeing the Aspire Tour. She is now like Tony Robbins' go-to MC, Broadway star, film and TV star, and mostly just my super dear friend, Renée Marino. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Jimmy. See, now
hi.
I'm going to bring you around with me.
Okay, yeah. Well, it'll just be you hold my hand, I'll hold Kate's.
Yeah.
A little awkward, but that's what we'll walk around in. And so one of the things that, and Phil, thank you so much for having us on here. And I've been able to kind of pop on and listen in throughout the day. But one of the things specifically Phil had asked Renee and I to talk about, which I thought was very, it was a wise question of his, is how our acting backgrounds, have helped us in the MC realm. And so Renee, I'm going to let you take the stage here first, because I know it's something you talk about often and the idea of speaking up, and that's kind of how you got your platform in the first time. But as you were kind of reviewing this, You know, just from a 30,000-foot view, what do you think your acting, your performing background really prepped you for this?
Yes, this is such a great observation, and I'm so glad we're talking about this because it allowed me to really to reflect on what skills as an actress I've been able to transfer to my emceeing work. And there's so much, Jimmy, as you know. I mean, number one, as actors, preparation is key. We know that memorization is one of the top skills that we need to possess.
Yeah.
But even more than the memorization, it's the pre-work, right? It's really being able to edify, honor all of the speakers that we're introducing. And I know both you and I are very cognizant of connecting with those that we are presenting at events, making sure, am I representing you in the right light? Is there something else you would like me to say? So really that preparation. The other thing is taking up space, right? As actors, I mean, we have to know how to take up space, how to, you know, go on stage and feel those lights and bring our confidence forth because being actors, you know, stage is our second home. And
Yeah.
one of the most important qualities, I would say, is that ability to connect with our audience. And the biggest difference really is when we're acting, it's through the lens of that character we're playing, right? Through that story. But the best part, what I love the most is when we're emceeing, we get to be ourselves.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and for me, that's my favorite part. And I'm sure you would agree.
I get asked that all the time. Like, do you miss performing? And I knew like you still sing all the time on stage. In fact, the last time I sang on stage was because Phil invited me to sing on stage. And this was right before the world shut down. And we did a musical number. We did 2 musical numbers at Social Media Marketing World. And it was funny because I just got done emceeing the Go High Level event here in Dallas. And Molly was a part of that too. And it was so good to see her again. I was like, oh, performers unite. You know what I loved that you said, and it wasn't even something I was going to touch on, but you talked about we as performers, like studying lines and stuff. And a lot of times you think, you know, we don't necessarily have a script as an MC, but I look at emceeing the same way I looked at acting. And what I mean is homework. Study, 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 and then forget about it and let it be whatever it's going to be on stage that day, right? I do the same thing with my clients when I'm teaching them their keynotes. I was like, we're going to map out some kind of script. You need to study it, but then it doesn't have to be verbatim because I always think you have to leave room for the magic. And the magic only happens when you are so locked in, you know your stuff so well that you can let it go, right? It's that part of like, it's, I always say learning your lines as an actor is just step 1. Same thing about a keynote, anything else. Okay, you know the words on the page. Now, once we put the page down and we put you on the stage, what do you do with that information?
Yes, and Jimmy, you just mentioned the magic. A lot of times, more often than not, the magic are in the mess ups. And you guys,
absolutely.
For those of you listening who are maybe just wanting to start out emceeing, let go of this idea of perfectionism. Screw it. The magic is in the mess ups because in those mess ups, this is what happens. And this is what I learned from being an actress. You know that phrase, the show must go on. The magic is in those mess ups because when we mess up, okay, you can't help but be present. And I'll tell you a funny story. It was so great. I was emceeing the Aspire tour just, oh gosh, what was it? May or June? We were in Orlando. And Barbara Corcoran, you know, one of the sharks on Shark Tank, she was up there and she looked so fierce. And ladies, I know you get this. Like she showed up in her cute suit and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta call this out. So I go out there again in the moment and I was like, okay, everyone, can we just give it up for Barbara Corcoran? I mean, can we look at her? And you guys, I was not ready for this. She turns around, she walks to the front of the stage, and you better believe she gave us a little fashion show. She did a twirl, and the audience went crazy, and I'm like, Barbara! And it was this amazing moment that happened just because I was present, right? I was in the moment. But again, don't be afraid to mess up. I can't tell you how many times I have screwed something up. I flubbed a line. I did this, or some speaker was late, which happens all the time. And you just go with it. And the beautiful part is when you mess up or make a mistake, as we call it, that's what shows your human side. And that's what's relatable and helps you to connect to the audience.
Okay, I am on the, and I think Phil was at this. I think it's the event we met at. I am sitting here right now. I know Phil because of the most colossal tech bug ever in the history of stage. So we're doing an event with Barry and Blue. If you know Barry and Blue that runs Stage, Renee knows Barry and Blue that runs Tony Robbins events, right? Runs some of the biggest events in the world. I had never worked. I had met Barry that morning, and I was not emceeing this event. I was just gonna MC a speaking competition at the evening of this event, and so the whole thing's going on, and I was supposed to bring Pat Quinn back on. Pat Quinn was getting done. He was taking a break. And Barry just comes and grabs me, gives me all of 3 minutes notice. She's like, hey, when this break's over, just go back up there, remind everybody to come to the speaking, to the competition tonight, and then bring Pat back on. Okay, got it. I thought of a little like anecdote because I had been listening to the speaker before me, so I had something to reference off of. Please take notes on that. I see so many MCs that check out backstage. I position myself, and this is how you're going to have a different relationship with your audience. I am the audience on stage. I have a different relationship with my audience because I edify these speakers. You and I, Mr. and Mrs. Audience Member, we're going to go on this adventure together and learn from these people. You also make more money, and I'll get back to my story, but this is too good. You also make more money as an MC because when you do that, you become part of the sales process. I have a different relationship with the audience telling you, oh my gosh, this offer you're about to hear, or I can handle objections ahead of. I call it the cool Uncle Billy syndrome. Mom and dad tell you something over and over and over and you don't listen to it, but cool Uncle Billy comes over on Thanksgiving and says the exact same thing and you trust Uncle Billy. We are Uncle Billy. So back to my story and then back to Renee. So I jump up there and I get just far enough in to tell people I have a theater background and the mic goes out. And Phil, there must be a few thousand, that's a big event, a few thousand people, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden the mic goes out and somebody from the audience goes, the mic's gone out. Well, Blue comes running from the tech, runs up, hands me another mic. And again, the magic, Renee, me and the sound guy just kind of make eye contact and it was just kind of a knowing nod. I make a bit out of it. I run off stage. He kicks the music back up. I pop back on and I just pick up a mic. I don't know if you've heard, but my background's in acting and I pick back up, second mic goes out. But at this point, I just think I'm the new guy and I'm getting punked. And people are like, we can't hear you, the mic's out. And I'm just kind of rolling with it, kind of making fun of myself. And you know the mics they have in the audience, like that are like the fluffy ones that you can throw around? Somebody tosses me that from the audience. I'm not lying. That mic goes out. I just make a bit out of it. I go full Shakespeare voice, kind of hit the back of the stage, bring Pat on. But here's where this really launched a lot of my MC career. I'd done stuff for Beachbody and Disney before, but I come off stage and Barry gives me the biggest hug and she goes, Jimmy, and I literally had just met this woman that morning. She goes, I will put you on any stage, anywhere, anytime. And I'm like, why? I didn't think I did anything big. And she goes, do you know how many people I have seen melt down? And I thought about it and you were talking about prep. I'm like, well, why was I good in that part? Because I worked at Disney World for 3 years at the Great Movie Ride. What up, Kate? And anytime the ride would break down, I'd have 60 people staring at me and I had to make things up. And so those are kind of those hidden reps as well. What else do you do? Like when you first, what else are some things that now that you're on this side of it, Renee, you didn't realize performing was training you for this?
Wow, just think about even just the way you use your voice, right? All of my years of voice training, being a singer.
Yep.
I mean, you better believe before I'm emceeing any event, I mean, I'm up, I'm doing my morning routine. I like to do Tony Robbins priming, and I'm doing a full-on vocal warm-up as if I'm singing. Oftentimes, I'll end up singing because that's just what happens. It comes out. But, your voice is your tool.
Yeah.
It's not about relying on the microphone. Jimmy just told you, sometimes the mic doesn't work, right?
Nope.
So being able to really reach that person, the last person in the row, having that vocal warm up. And I want to go back to what you just shared. It's about flexibility. Being flexible as an MC is everything. And I'm sure every MC who spoke today, any MC that you would hear, they would tell you about crazy things that happened and they just had to go with the flow. They had to be flexible. Flexibility is your friend, right? And just this power of, I like to call it just showing up, right? Jimmy, And again, this also, I believe, comes from an acting background. You know, we have such strong work ethic. So, this idea of the power of showing up. And what I mean by this is being there, being present, ready to go, because you got to be ready for anything. I mean, I can tell you so many times I was hosting Tony Robbins' event, the Time to Rise Summit, back in January. And something happened, and last minute, you know, I was also doing the sales. So I was presenting the offer that day, and you know, something changed last minute. So Tony's like, "All right, Renee, I need you to say," blah, blah, blah. It was like 30 seconds left, and I was like, you know, like the deer in the headlights, and I was like, "Okay, ready." And it's just about showing up. And if you are there and you're ready and you're willing, that's more than half the battle. And for me, a lot in my career doing Broadway, even touring before I made it to Broadway, a lot of one of the most common roles that I played was a swing. And that's where you cover several different roles at once. And that I always say was my best training because again, I had to be my own best advocate. Nobody was telling me like, Renee, get up and rehearse while the regular cast is on stage. I had to have that own inner activation. So as an MC, same thing. You just always want to kind of flip that script in your brain and be like, okay, between when I'm on stage, it's not like, okay, you know, I'm good. But as Jimmy shared, like listening, right? Paying attention to what goes on, because then when it's your time to come back out on stage, you could tie the pieces together because you are the through line. You help to thread the theme of that event.
When I've asked people that I've worked with before, I'm like, hey, I said, critique me. Compare me to other MCs you've used. Where are the holes in my game? Because I just want to get better all the time, right? But the one thing as a compliment that I did get was, there are so many MCs that just check out when they get off stage. And if something goes wrong and you're not present in the moment, I mentioned being the audience on stage, the other side of that. And I bring this up in negotiations. In fact, you can ask Kate, I laid this whole thing out when we were talking in Atlanta. And so when I'm sitting there and I'm negotiating, I'm going to show them how their event's going to be better and they're going to sell more. I talk about Cool Uncle Billy and I talk about being the audience on stage. But I said my other job is to be the human highlighter. And what I mean by that is I am literally backstage taking notes just like the audience. And what I do is edify them beforehand. And edification is such a lost skill, guys. I mean, but it's what we do, right? But on the flip side, I will come back and I become the human highlighter. Oh my gosh. Renee was great. You know, my biggest takeaways from Renee was when she said this and this. And if you want the extra little layer of that, if I know there's going to be a high ticket offer at the end of the day or at the end of the event, every speaker that somehow edifies the offer that they don't know is coming yet, I'm going to highlight that. And then somewhere along the way, I'm probably also going to share, you know, every time I MC, I always throw on there, hey, I never know how I end up on these stage. Before getting in business, I was a former 100-pound overweight, 3-time college dropout. And I know the first time I ever got in a room like this, I was scared to death. I didn't have money. And I'm just laying down a few little stories because the objection is going to be, I haven't done this before. I don't have the money. This is scary. So I just try to, you know, again, it's just that trust with your audience. And that's what I do like this when people ask me, do I miss performing? Is, you know how it is. You walk into an audition room and you got to look over everybody's heads. I love that I actually get to co-create this with my audience.
Yes. And Jimmy, that's such a great point. It's really changing the perspective from like, I am talking at people, right? I'm just there like a talking head as I'm talking with people, right? I love that, co-creating with the audience. Like you're in this together. Listen, we're on this journey together. I'm not standing up here on a pedestal and I'm like, okay, everybody listen to me now. Obviously you're listening, right? Because you're leading, but you're leading together and you're co-creating. And I think that's why you've been so successful, Jimmy. And that's why, you know, you are at the top of your game because you know that. And I do believe having that acting background is such a gift. And for those of you who aren't in the acting space, you never were, I think it really would help for you to reflect on what are the skills that I have in other things that I've done that are transferable skills.
Yep.
Right? Because I think in any industry that maybe you're in that's not emceeing, look and tune into those transferable skills because I can promise you, you have them. And it really is just about sitting down, reflecting, what I talk about as a speaker, this power of communication, right? Everything in our lives starts with communication, but it's first the communication we have with ourselves.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
first step, right, is communication with yourself. So for you MCs, for those of you who are wanting to pursue this, sit down and communicate with yourself and write down, what are my amazing skills, my transferable skills that I can use to be a great MC, to set me apart from those that I've seen.
And can I piggyback on that? When you talk about, so different MCs are kind of different styles, right? I pop in for Devon a lot, and when Devon can't do Devon and I could not be, we both have a performing background, but I am not going to dance like that cat. I'm musical, but I am not dancing like Devon. And so you get to be you. And the very first time I ever filled in for him, I was really nervous because I watched him and I was like, oh, they're going to expect me to be this guy. But I was like, it's just going to ring false. But I wanted to touch back on the co-creating this thing. You know what else it requires your audience to do when they realize, oh, she or he, they're not just talking at us, but they're talking with us. So I don't do a lot of call and response as an MC. Some people do it really effectively. I've just never been good at it. That's probably why I don't do it. But it's very obvious that I find individuals that I'm having conversations with, and the rest of the audience knows, and it makes them play up. Oh, she may come to me next. He may come to me next. And John, you were talking earlier about virtual events. This is what I love about a virtual event is because when you have that Zoom and you've done them for Tony 1,000 times, Renee, what I love about a virtual event, and I've done them for Barry and Blue, is I always challenge my audience. I ask them to look at their screen, and in the chat, I ask them, tell me how many tabs you have open. And it stresses me out, the number that comes up.
Yeah.
And I challenge them. I said, can we make a verbal agreement to make this a one tab event?
Yes.
How would you treat this as if you were in the room? You've spent the time, you spent the money. But the other thing I say is, hey, the reason I'm so glad that we're here virtually is if I was in a room with you, with 5,000 of you, and Sally in the red sweater, I couldn't see you sitting in the back. And all of a sudden, Sally in the red sweater goes, oh, he can call on me at any time. And I'm like, guess what, guys? You have everybody has a front row seat. And I love talking with you. And again, okay, camera's on, one tab event, and it's kind of that verbal. So the minute you start talking with your audience, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, everybody plays up because they're like, oh, I don't want to not be engaged if she or he comes to me next.
Yes. And I want to touch upon, and maybe we've talked about this today, but I want to reiterate, hosting virtually is just as important as in person. And something to think about to make it feel as authentic is to treat that hosting like an in-person conversation. Place that person who you are most comfortable with in your life, right? That person that all your defenses go down when you speak to them, and put them right in the camera lens, right? This may be a simple little tip or trick for those of you who are really advanced, but I can't tell you how often when I share this that people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. But just a little virtual etiquette, just to remind you, you want to always be speaking to that camera lens. That is your audience. And sometimes what I see in hosting, in just seeing people presenting, is they're here, right? They feel more comfortable looking at everyone's faces on the screen. But as you can all see, I just disconnected, right? My eyes now are not connected with yours. But in my mind, I'm like, oh no, but I see Quinn, I see Candace, I see Jimmy. If you want to connect with your audience, make them feel seen, heard, and understood, you lift those eyes to that lens, baby, and it makes all the difference. So even just simple shifts like that will make all the difference. And like I said, place that person, because we all know we don't come out of the womb knowing how to talk to a camera. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't feel natural. So to make it feel more natural, because you don't feel that back and forth conversation, and you're not in person, so you don't always feel that energy like in person. For yourself, you have to make it so. So what I teach my clients when I teach them to connect on camera is place that person in the lens who is that person that just you're like your best self, you're most comfortable. And if you see them in the camera lens, all of a sudden you're connecting.
I love that. okay, I want to touch on one other thing, and I know you're going to follow. And Renee and I did not talk about anything we were going to talk about, but I know you're going to follow me on this.
You guys are answering all the questions I had, so I'm
okay.
I'm
Well,
listening in.
okay, I'm going to touch on one more thing, and then let's open it up for Q&A. But here's you want to really, really, really set yourself apart as an MC. Have a keynote speech in your back pocket.
Amen.
And before Renee, it was funny because I emceed Aspire, I think before, anyway, Renee for the longest time was like the opening speaker so she's done both. She's emceed Aspire and she's also been the opening speaker. And I have a keynote speech where I talk about, for Renee, it's connection. She tells her story about getting cast in the Jersey Boys movie, and it's a fantastic, and the importance of speaking up and connection. I have an entire, because we have other businesses, right, in addition to what we do as MCs. Mine always goes back to storytelling, and I teach people how to sell via storytelling, and it's a lot of what I do there. But I cannot tell you how often, and it was either the first or second time I did Aspire, the first 2 times there were like crazy weather. And so we just had to vamp. They didn't want to start early because we had half a room. And so it was literally, Jimmy, can you go kill 45 minutes? And I was like, yes, I can. And off I went and told my story about fat little Jimmy in the first grade. And I just went through the whole keynote. And this is what it does. Not only does it make you more valuable as an MC, you may get brought back as a keynote the next time. And I know you get to shift, you really get to shift that gear even more than I do, Renee, specifically in that Aspire world.
Yeah, 100%. And again, Jimmy, that's something that goes back to the skills that we acquired as actors, being ready for anything. Yeah. Again, I'm going to tie it to acting. I can't tell you how many times being a swing, being an understudy, that I had to go on last second. And was I ready? You better believe it. Yeah. Same thing. And speaking of Aspire, I mean, we were at Madison Square Garden. Okay, you guys, and Devon can tell you this. Everybody, it was like something, I don't know what their power outages or something. So no one was there. So I show up. That's another thing. Write this down, everyone. If you can, if they allow, show up the day before, get a sense of the space, walk around. I always do that. I will never show up blindly and be like, oh, hey, you got to feel the energy of the space, do a little practicing speaking. So I'm there the day before because I live in New Jersey. So Madison Square Garden's in my backyard. And I'm there because I'm speaking. I'm the opening speaker, okay, for MSG. Huge opportunity. I'm so excited. And then the team's like, Renee, I don't know if Devon's going to make it, And I'm like, they're like, so I don't know. I'm like, well, whatever you need, guys. So for me, it was opposite. And I was like, well, you got me. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. And it was great. Devon ended up being there. But it's about showing up, being ready. And as long as you can always lead with that, you'll be good. You'll be ready for anything.
And with that, and killing 45 minutes and having a keynote, I feel are 2 kind of different things. It's one that's like you can entertain and you can do Q&A, and there's ways to fill time. But if I can add value to the event and teach something else, which also goes, so I know for a fact, Renee's keynote, my keynote, I can adjust it if I know if it's a bunch of real estate agents. So know your audience. Because if that happens, it's like, okay, what do I know in my skill set or my keynote? How do I add value to this to where everybody at the event goes, oh my gosh, this wasn't even on the agenda. So, connection wasn't even on our agenda. Storytelling to sell wasn't even on our agenda. And they added to that because we took the time as well. So, okay, let's do Q&A. You want questions, Phil? What's up?
Well, we're kind of at the end of our time, but this
okay. Sorry. Wind us up and let us go.
No, literally, I had 5 questions, and you guys answered every single one. So I want to say thank you to both of you. But there's something that you said, Renee. You're wondering if Devon will show up.
There he is.
We're wondering if he's going to show up. He is in the house. He's going to be our special guest here.
There we go.
Minutes, so stick around, guys.
We were your opening act, Devon. What's up, man?
Hey, guys. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Renee.
Miss you, friend.
Miss you, too.
So, Devon, if you'll stick around for let's stick around for a couple minutes because I'm going to have Quinn come on, and she's going to do something both of you said, Jimmy and Renee, and that is pay attention and provide a summary of what's happened today. So she's actually going to do a wrap, and then we'll bring Devon on, and we'll have a quick conversation as a special bonus to today. So if you guys are able, stick around. But Quinn, come back and do the wrap-up, please.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, let's give Jimmy and Renee some virtual love. I mean, were they good or were they great? Were they awesome or were they amazing? I mean, all the things. And what I think I loved about this session was the transferable skills, right? When you are on stage, you are part MC, part entertainer, part keynote speaker, part actor, part content weaver. And I think that a lot of times we don't realize how much of these skill sets that we're pulling from. So I loved how they let us into their world, gave us some stories from their stage, and just shared their excellence with us. So can we just go ahead and put Jimmy, type Renee in the comments to show them some virtual love? I absolutely love it, love it, love it, love it. And I sent you both connection requests on LinkedIn because I'm like, we need to be fast friends. Love everything that you're putting down. So listen, so much has happened today. I think not only do I just want to highlight Phil again, I appreciate your insight, your wisdom, and you being a cheerleader and champion for the MC role. There are so many people hoping, wishing, and praying that people will hire them. And I think this summit did a great job of saying that if you powerfully position yourself, there are already people who believe in the role who are willing to hire you. And we started this day off magnificently. I talked about how you can be not just a average or an amazing MC, but an epic MC. And I broke down what that looked like. And we heard from Sheeta, and she talked about her Jabberyak and her organization as well. We even had a conversation with Phil. We talked about our style, and we had a conversation about your MC effect. And then Ramon came through and talked to us about the business side of MCing and hosting. And he was dropping gems left and right from the Dominican Republic. And then we didn't stop there. We talked about how the show must go on. And we talked about how to respond to the unexpected. And John and Ramon was giving insight on how we can say names properly, how we can engage, how we can prepare and properly prep for the stage. And listen, we were just getting started. Many of you were here since day one, from the first kickoff session, and we did not disappoint. We got a video from Devin who talked about how more planners need to be just emotionally intelligent enough to know that we should not be spending more on Caesar salads than we are the MC role, right? Which was amazing. And then we talked a little bit more about the role of, MCing as a business versus a hosting hobby. And then Phil did a great job of introducing Debbie, and we talked about her business as well, Visit Tour, and how we can really powerfully position ourselves and how we can be listed on her site as an MC. And then, we didn't stop there. One of my highlights was really introducing and interviewing Liz and Colleen, and they gave us some insight on what planners are looking for and how we can position ourselves. And they even left us with a golden nugget on how LinkedIn is the #1 platform to get seen, heard, found, and highlight our MC expertise. And then Megan came in and said, you know what? There's been a lot of information. We need to take a stretch break, right? So we stretched, we used our fingers, we opened up all of our senses to what it can be to not just participate in a virtual experience, but actually engage in a virtual experience. So we just had so many different touch points about how we can fully come alive as a virtual or as an in-person MC. And then it wasn't over. We really had a great conversation with Rich and Kate, who was showing us how to really get audiences to participate and engage by breaking through the fourth wall. And then we also had a great time with Kate and Jimmy, really talking about how we as actors, as MCs, can borrow stuff from the acting field and apply it on stage. So, I mean, what a wonderful experience. And I'm just curious to know from you, from a 1 to 10, 10 being absolutely amazing, 1 being, I don't even know why I wasted my time. What was this for you? What was this Emcee Summit? Was it a 1? Was it a 3? Was it a 10? Where are you? I'm seeing 10. I'm getting 1,000 from Cricket. I'm seeing 110 from Dana. I mean, I think this was absolutely amazing. So, those were just my highlights, and we are just kind of kicking this off. Again, Phil and I had a conversation about the importance of MCing, and we're just grateful that all of you have joined us, giving us some of your time, some of your attention, and it's showing us that more opportunities, more virtual experiences, more teachings and trainings need to be held around this whole art and business of emceeing. So if you are interested in staying connected, there is a Facebook group. It's called Epic MCs Unite. I think they're going to drop that in the chat. And also, if you are liking or loving some of the speakers, some of the other people who are in the audience, make sure you connect. Drop your LinkedIn in the comments. That way we can stay connected after this Emcee Summit is over. So John, did you want to thank a few of our sponsors and then stick around as we have a conversation with the one, the only, the dynamic Devon Brown, because he's in the building. That's what I heard. That's what I saw. Living legend right here on the Emcee Summit.
Give it up for Quinn, the recap queen, Conyers. Phil, I believe we have a few prizes for our guests before you bring on the final countdown.
Yeah, we're going to do another drawing here. Renee has a book about communications that she's offered, and I've got another copy of my book, and I think, John, you are too. So let's try it again and see if we don't pick a speaker this time. And if not, we'll do it behind the scenes. So,
well, good. Well, I've got the first one, the winner of your book, Phil, Cricket Harrison.
All right. Hey, Cricket. Awesome.
Thank
Drop
you
me your mailing address and LinkedIn since we just connected.
Already got it. Oh, look, she even got the Jabberyak background. Amazing.
Oh,
Thank you, Cricket.
Sweet. All right.
Okay, your next winner is Shannon Kelly, winning Renee's book.
All right, Shannon. Congrats.
All right, now do we have one more prize?
I'm giving one more away. Go for it.
Oh, okay, I don't know who it is, but at 22%, it's going to be a speaker. We'll have to spin again. It's... Of course.
That's ironic.
I told you the mistakes is the moment, Phil. What was the odds of you getting your own book? Apparently 100%. Megan N., you're a winner. You are a winner, Megan N.
All right, we want to say thank you, everybody, for just a couple of our sponsors and those who have been here. John, give John a round of applause through your emojis for producing this event. I mean, look at all those screens. He and I had 3 walkthroughs of the agenda before this. That's the detail. Like, he pushed me, and I'm glad we did, because we got to know the show. To Renee and Jimmy's point, you need to know the show so you can flex. If you don't know the show, you can't flex. You're going to be stuck. So thank you, John. Thank you, Quinn, for being a co-conspirator in creating this event. We really appreciate you showing up and being an MC, your recap, all that you've done. Sheeta is, I think, still in the house. Thank you for Jabberyak and being part of it and showing us that we can connect not only around our profession, but around our passions. And Debbie, thank you for Versatour and the part that you've played here today. We're going to switch now. We didn't expect this. Devon told me a few weeks ago he couldn't be here because he's in London, but he decided he's going to stay up. He's like, I think, ready for bed, but he decided to show up. Renee and Jimmy, if you guys are still here and want to come back on, let's just have a quick conversation. Devon, let's start off with you. You've heard the highlights from Quinn today. What's something you would add to an aspiring MC or someone who's even been MCing for a while? What's a skill or something they should focus on that maybe we haven't talked about today?
Well, first, let me just say I am so honored to be in the virtual room with so many amazing MCs. And a lot of you guys may know that I've been working with a lot of the people even on this call, like the Jimmys of the world, and then the Kate, who I see on the screen right now. And doing what we can to help level up the profession of emceeing and to just jump on here and to be able to just add a couple of minutes at the end to see all of you amazing people jumping on, doing what you can to lift up the profession of emceeing so that we can all get out there more, get more exposure, get paid what we're worth, have the events industry and have the industry as a whole look at us and understand that we are the first person that their audience sees. We are the person that their audience sees in between every speaker. When that speaker stinks, we're the one who has to go on and lift the energy up. When that speaker is a new speaker and they end early and they end 20 minutes early, early, we're the ones who have to go on and fill the gap for 20 minutes. If a speaker is horrible and they're over and we got to kick them off the stage, we're the ones who got to do it. We're the audience's best friend. We're their tour guide. We're the protector of the event, and we should get paid like it. And we should get and yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I have something that I say all the time that says, like, look, if you need a celebrity to help sell tickets, great. But your next thing, if you're putting on an event, after you sell those tickets and you get the celebrity keynote or whatever you're doing, the next thing you need to figure out is who's going to be your MC. And this is what we're trying to teach events. This is what I'm trying to teach events. And so having all of you guys here, so let me just thank you guys all for being there and for putting this on. I'm so glad. I wish I could have been here longer. You guys all know what it's like at event day, and especially when you're overseas. And I took the red eye in here to London, and I got meetings with the event. And so I'm just glad I could hop on here at the end and make my face known. And so Phil, thank you. And real quick, if you're going to say, what is one thing? I don't know what has been covered. When I popped on, Jimmy and Renee were on, and I see Kate here. So my guess is a lot of stuff that I'm going to say has already been covered because you've got some amazing people. But two things that I'll say. Number one, has anybody talked about story banks? Does anybody use that terminology, or exercise banks? Okay. So one of the things that we as MCs have to do when we're talking about bringing acting and stuff into it, one of the things that we have to do is we have to be able to, when the event goes sideways, make it not look like the event is going sideways. And when we can do that well, we're the bomb.com. That's what gets us. I tell all of my clients, look, you're not hiring me for when things go right. You're hiring me for when that speaker ends 20 minutes early, the next speaker isn't ready, and then I got to go out and riff and not let the audience know that I'm riffing and I'm making this crap up as I go along. And so how do we do that? The way I love to do that is two ways. The first way, or three ways. The first way is, guys, if you're ever stuck stalling, rule number one, give it back to the audience. What did you get? You turn to the audience and you say, what did you get out of this? And you let them provide the content, right, to fill the time. Just ask the audience questions, let them provide the content to fill the time. Second way I love to fill time is I'll have what's called a story bank, BANK. I have a bank of stories that I can tell in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. And then I will tell those stories and the key to having a story bank is not that you're just having a bank of stories just so you can tell and hear yourself talk. Always tie it back to the event, right? Always tie it back to the event. And that's usually the really one line at the end. And then the last thing I'll say is that I'll also do what's called an exercise bank. If I feel the audience has been sitting for too long, I have little exercises that I can get up and do. Sometimes they're 2 minutes where I'll have them ninja chop each other on the back. And then other times I'll teach them a whole entire dance tutting routine if I have 15 minutes. And so those are the things that I'll say with regard to when you can... When the event goes sideways and the AV team and the organizer and everybody's freaking out, and you're like, chill out. 23 minutes on the clock? That's what you hired me for. I got this. Don't worry about what's next. When you can say that, you are booked for next year automatically.
100%.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
No, that's so smart, because you never know. Is it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 7 minutes, 25?
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle that? You have no idea how long the gap's going to be. So you don't know, do I need my 10-minute exercise,
right,
10-minute story, the 5 or the 20? What do you do there?
Great question. So this is where communication comes in. Number one, if it's a type of event that has confidence monitors in the front of the stage, I will tell them. I've done this before. I had to do a 40-minute one time. I didn't know it was going to be 40 minutes, but I just told them, talk to me on the confidence monitors. Just talk to me on the confidence monitors. And that's the first way I deal with it when I don't know. I remember once I was having some musical actor, it was like Ja Rule or T-Pain or something, and they had to set up all of their stuff, and the AV team was having problems, and they were like, Devon, I don't know if it's going to be 2 minutes, if it's going to be 12 minutes. I'm like, great. Talk to me on the confidence monitor. That's rule number one. They said, well, what if we can't because we have to unplug it because T-Pain or Ja Rule has to put something in? I said, in that case, and I'm going to say something that I know you guys talked about because I heard it in the recap that Quinn gave that was awesome. You break the fourth wall. I tell the event organizer, just come out on stage and interrupt me and talk to me in my ear, or just like be blunt about it. The audience is going to be okay. They're all right. They're not going to. So when you come out on stage and you're like, Devon, time's up. I'm like, time's up. Oh my gosh. Really? Guys, that was my cue. Time's up. I guess we're ready for our next person. And the audience is along for the ride, and they're finding out in real time like you're finding out. So be their guide and just take them along and be like, and heck, even break the fourth wall and tell the audience that's what you're going to do ahead of time. I'll tell the audience all the nonsense I'm doing all the time. And I'm like, okay, here's where we are. Ja Rule's getting ready, but they're not exactly ready. We got to do a whole bunch of stuff with the music. So can I chit chat with you guys? And then they're going to come out and tell me when it's done. Does that sound cool? And I'll get the audience to buy in.
Yeah.
And now we're all waiting for the person together. And now when the person walks out from behind the stage and they see me whispering, the audience is like, that's what we were waiting for. And so, yeah, it's fun. And then,
so there's a nuance there. For a second. There's a nuance there because earlier you said you don't want the audience to know if something's going wrong. When do you know now is the time I need to actually bring them into it? And how do you do that? Because I've heard you say both. And
Great question. Right about my gosh. Love the nuance. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing, one of the most important things, it's actually what you alluded to. And that's why I answered the question two different ways. The first thing is, do I know how much time I have? If I know how much time I have and I know I've got that covered, then there's no need to bring the audience into it.
Yep.
If I don't know how much time I have, and we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants and some curveball might come in, right? Then I have the audience, then I'll bring the audience into it and I'll bring them along for the journey with me. But that is such a great question. And that's
generally happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, that's such a great question.
Bill, can I jump in on Gabrielle's question here in the chat?
Yeah, go for it.
And Devin and of course, Kate, if you want to jump in. But Gabrielle Wallace asked, what if the speaker freezes and you don't know if you should jump in or let them collect themselves and continue their talk? And my first answer is you got to use your intuition. This is the other thing you pay MCs for. MCs have developed intuition about the event. This just actually happened to me at my own retreat. We have a non-speaker, but he's a restaurateur. He actually went from being the dishwasher to owning this restaurant, and he's not a keynote speaker. When he got up there in the first 10 minutes, I could tell he was struggling. But I also know he's a conversationalist. I know him well enough, so I decided to get up, and I said, do you mind if I just ask you some questions? And he goes, Bingo. Oh my gosh, save me. So what happened afterwards, though, Devin and Kate, it was just this is the magic of an MC. We went from awkward to completely awesome because this speaker bowled everybody over with humility and authenticity. He's helping to feed like thousands of people who are losing their meals from SNAP. And he's going to cook 1,000 meals during Thanksgiving. And not even the Hall of Famers in the audience can, espout that. That's the level of contribution they're giving. So much so that the whole audience decided, many people in the audience are donating their time and resources to him. And so that was a case where going on was the right idea. But I'd love to hear either from Kate or from Devin.
Go ahead, Devon. Go ahead, Devon.
I'm sorry. And I know I read it. You know what? It's not so funny. Phil told me Devon, and I have it in my notes here.
That's all right. It happens all the time.
Thank you, Devon.
Yeah. Kate, you sure you don't want to? Yeah, you feel free to chime in. I'm good either way, but
it's our job, and I've learned this from you. Our job as an MC is to make the speakers look good, is to make, and one thing that I know, and you literally just said it, was we do our job well when chaos may be happening backstage, but the audience doesn't know. Because we're not losing our minds on stage, right? We're still calm, cool. No, we are supposed to have a 20-minute break here, and I'm going to teach you all how to do this generation's YMCA, which is called the hot to go. And it's whatever. So in my opinion, you don't ever want to, John, I love how you just said, you found a way to still make that speaker look so good.
Yeah.
So making sure that it would probably take a lot for me to go on stage to help a speaker. It would take a lot, mostly because I think a lot of the arenas that we are emceeing in, the speakers tend to be, do you know what I'm saying, Devon?
Yes. Yeah. So I think John brings up an excellent point about the speaker and MCs. This is something that you guys need to hear. The majority of speakers are not professional speakers. A lot of them are experts in their field, and being an expert in your field does not mean you're good at talking about your field. You're good at feeding the homeless, not talking about feeding the homeless. Those are two different skill sets. And so what you have to be cognizant of as a top level MC is that you have to be cognizant of is this a newer speaker? And a lot of times you can tell right off the bat. So one of my general rule of thumbs is if this speaker looks new and nervous, then the second I bring them on stage, I'm running to the bathroom real quick so that I can hurry up and be back in the room just in case they need me. Because I have literally seen new speakers just burn through their 40-minute presentation in 20 minutes. And it's like, uh-oh. But then to John's question about when do you go on, it's an intuition thing, right? And so it's exactly right. Nervous energy. And so it's an intuition thing. If they've got 15 minutes left and they're frozen or 20 minutes left, then do what John did, right? And have a conversation. Ask them questions. If they've got 5 minutes left and they just and you can tell it's wrap up time, then it's okay that that's wrap up time.
So Devon told us this one time, and I thought this was brilliant. There, you as an MC, you start to hear the difference between a clap of, oh, that was a really good point, and an end of my talk clap. I know I felt that as a keynote speaker, but always, and I know Jimmy talked about this too, always be listening backstage and paying attention. You may not be taking in every single word, writing down every single note that the speaker is saying, but you've got to keep an ear out for that. Because I know, Devon, you told us one time about a time when there was 20, 25, something like that minutes left. You heard that applause. You knew because you were paying attention. You grabbed your microphone and you're like, I'm on. And they were like, Devon, it's too early. And you were like, I'm going. And you saved the other trick is, let's say a speaker went out and bombed, just tanked, which I've seen happen. It's our job as the MC to go out and everybody up out of your seats, give it up for Devon Brown. Oh my gosh, I loved when he said, and building them up, even if they weren't the greatest. Would you agree with that, Devon?
Yeah, I mean, look, our job is not to poop. Our job is to shine light. My job is to take something. I don't care if the person was the worst speaker in the world. They probably said something good.
Yeah.
Right? They probably said one. So let me highlight that. Let me highlight that. Because So
can I shed a little light on Gabby's question?
Please.
It's actually got a nuance that I think's helpful. I know the exact moment she's talking about. There was a speaker whose slides had worked in pre-show, but weren't working quite right. And she didn't have confidence in her material enough to not use the slides. And so Gabby's sitting there wondering, hey, the slides aren't working. She can't see them. She's apparently lost. Eventually she found her way, but it was like 10 minutes, I think, Gabby, if I remember right, where she is wandering and Gabby's sitting there wondering, do I need to do something? Because it's deer in the headlights moment. And it's in the first 10 minutes. And she's a fairly experienced speaker, but not a professional. So that felt like 10 hours, Gabby said, not 10 minutes. So with that clarification, I mean, I know intuition's part of it, but what would you have done?
With that nuance, my short answer would be yes. So here's how it might play out, right? Here's how it might play out. It might play out, speaker goes on stage, slides aren't working. I'm backstage talking to the point of contact or talking to the AV team. Hey guys, what's going on with her slide? Now, AV team is my best friend. So it's not, guys, fix her slides, because that's not my role. My role ain't to come up in here and be a jerk. It's, guys, what's going on with her slides? Oh, well, she sent us this one, but this one happened. Okay, is it looking like it's going to get fixed? She might need about 5 or 10 minutes. In which case, if it feels like it's going to be 10 minutes and the AV team doesn't have a quick solution, by the way, this is where communication comes in. I'm talking to the people backstage and I'm getting the okay. And I'm even saying to the person who's cutting my check, I'm about to go on if you need me to go on, but I'm getting confirmation sometimes from the other people who are at the event so that they know that I'm not just running around, like a maverick, just doing my own thing. That being said, in that situation, that would be a situation where I am probably okay coming outside and breaking the fourth wall and coming outside and saying to the audience, hey guys, guess what? Technology happened. Our amazing AV team is back there working on getting Cassandra's slides ready, whatever her name is. I'm making up names for people now, right? Our AV team is ready, is fixing Cassandra's slides. But while we're waiting on them to do that, I was really enjoying, Cassandra, what you were saying about this. So can I ask you a couple of questions? And then audience, can we have a conversation while we're fixing this so we can keep moving forward with the content? Does that sound like a plan? And now everybody's bought in. And everybody know I didn't come out and say the AV team screwed something up. No, I said technology happened and our amazing AV team is on it. In the meantime, let's all come at this thing as a team. Let's all come at this thing as a crew together.
Yeah.
This individual on stage, whether they're lost right now or not, has great information in their head. And I know as a human, all they need is for me to ask one or two questions and they'll probably take off running because they know their material.
Right.
So, yeah.
So that a couple of things you said there, I think are really important to highlight. Wherever the AV team, it sounds like that's where you should go after you've introduced the person. And Gabby, I know ours was in the back of the room when this happened. And my tendency would be to want to sit in the front row. But I'm hearing, no, actually, that's not smart.
Oh, I sit next to AV. My rule, I sit next to AV.
Yeah, that's smart. But the
You're
other
making
thing
friends.
you said was you probably need to know the person's content enough that you could ask that first or second question. So you've done a little bit of homework. You don't need to be able to present the whole thing. I know John's done it and made it up, but would you agree with that? Like you at least studied.
I don't even need to know. I'm going to teach you guys how to do this cold. Let's pretend that you don't know. You have no clue what their slides are. You have no clue what anything is. Because, right, that's worst case scenario, right? John, if it were you and you were frozen, not that it would be you because you are a professional and you know what you're doing, but I'm going to pick on you for a sec. If it were you and if it were you and I on stage and you were frozen and I didn't know your material, I would come out on stage and I would see that you needed help. And then I would say, so John, real quick, what was the last point that was making, or I would turn to the audience, what was the last point John was making? All right. And, or sorry, was it last point Phil was making or whoever was making, right? And they'd be, the talk about blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, insert topic matter here. John, I'm just going to let you opine on that for a little bit and tell us what you know. And then we're going to pull questions out of that and ask you more depth. Is that okay that I put you on the spot like that? Great.
Yes.
Don't have to know anything.
Okay.
I don't have to know anything. I never have to know anything. All I need to know is how to pull stuff out of other people, either the speaker or the audience.
And you actually did both because you made both audiences comfortable with that moment and gave both audiences permission to engage in something different while we're waiting for it to get fixed. And even if it doesn't, it sounds like it's going to go fine because you're going to facilitate that conversation, whether it's 5 minutes or 40. So
bingo.
I absolutely love that.
And when it does, and let's say it doesn't go well, let's say it doesn't, then the way I frame it as, you see, guys, this is what I love about live events, is because the event always ends up giving us exactly what we need to get the most out of the event. How many of you guys enjoyed getting the chance to get John, or how many of you enjoyed getting the chance to ask John questions directly, and you picked up at least one thing that here's a neat thing. All of you who have your hands up right now, had his presentation gone through like normal, then it might not have happened that way. So can we give it up to John? And right? Like, no matter what happens, I'm framing it as the best thing that ever happened. I don't know, maybe it was.
Hey, you showing up here is one of those. Like, this was not planned, and this is like the perfect ending to this. And I think those of you who are here, if you agree with that, write Devon in the chat, because this has been solid gold. And we didn't know we needed this. So thank you for staying
If you
up.
don't know Devon, like if you are on this call and you're like, oh man, like this guy seems cool, but I don't know. Go check out his work. He is, if MC Hammer, wait, hold on. I know this. If MC Hammer meets Tony Robbins, kind of like Devon, you'll appreciate this. I said earlier when I introduced Jimmy, I said he has the suits and swagger of Frank Sinatra with the dreams and ambition of Walt Disney.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to find me on LinkedIn. I should be on LinkedIn, and I know I should be on LinkedIn. There it is. That's me on LinkedIn. If you Google, I'm more on Instagram than LinkedIn, but I'm going to be on LinkedIn more soon. So just a heads up.
If you ever get a story to hear how he get the chance to hear his story of how he became an MC, he is one of my coaches. He is phenomenal. If not one of the very best in the industry. I've learned so much. Please go find Devon because he is incredible.
So Phil, I really like to suggest, one of our principles when we work is end on a high note. And I'm pretty sure that Devon can really nail this high note that we have. Do you want to do this thing?
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Devon, are you ready for an improv?
I don't even know what we're doing, but count me in.
Yes.
All right, this will be fun. This will be fun. And
no.
Kate, you're in too. You're in too.
Oh yeah.
You're not ready for this, Devon.
Uh-oh.
I'm clearly not ready for this.
So here's the setup. While he's getting set up, Devon and Kate and we're gonna slow jam the end.
Okay, done.
Phil's gonna play some music, and we're gonna take some turns slow jamming the end.
What is that? A soprano sax?
Clarinet. All right, well, I'm John Chen.
And I'm Devon Brown.
And she is
the real Slim Katie.
And we're here, and we're going to slow jam the end with the Emcee Effect. We got to give a shout out to Quinn, the Queen Conyers.
Quinn, the Queen Conyers.
Shout out for Quinn.
Oh, yeah. Today's we saw the masters of the mic. Go ahead and say some of their names. Kate!
We had the one, the only, Jimmy Nelson. I'm trying to find the other names because I have them written down somewhere.
Let's give it up for Renee! And we had a special guest. His name is Devon.
Let's not forget about our event planners who told us all about what event planners are looking for in this world.
Liz.
Shout out to Liz and Colleen.
Colleen.
I'm just letting you guys run with this because this is beautiful. This is fun. Yeah. I'm not stepping on greatness. It doesn't make any sense for me to step on greatness.
He joined us all the way from, was it the Dominican Republic?
Oh, Ramon.
Ramon.
Say his name, Ramon.
Ramon.
Thank you, and shout out to our sponsors, because we would never make it without your cash. Debbie, Versatour.
And can we please put your hands, paws, and claws together for the man who made this all possible, the one who brought us in here today, celebrating MCs and reminding us just how important we are. Give it up for Phil, everybody.
Everyone, unmute now. Now's the time. You get to slow jam with us. Unmute.
Thank you, Phil, from North Carolina.
You're going to say Phil on 3.
Thanks, Phil.
Say Phil on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Phil. This has been Slow Jam, the Emcee Effect. I'm John Chen.
I'm Phil Merson.
I'm special guest Devon Brown.
And I'm Kate Garnes.
We just want to say